Simon Webb, and I'm delighted to say Tony Holgate joins me this morning. Tony, and day 4 has been good fun this tournament, but we've got lots still to come.
You lie so well.
I do.
Good morning.
I'm a commentator.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. And this is an interesting match. I suddenly looked at this morning and thought, are these the 2 losing semi-finalists from Event 7?
Yes, they are.
So both have gone deep in the previous event.
And Scott Gillespie, of course, was the European Open champion. So from the last 2 events, he is winner and semi-finalist. He's certainly riding some brilliant form. And Chaos Cole Bedford is, well, he's just one of the most entertaining players to watch. You can argue for all the wrong reasons, potentially, and I'd say that to him. He kind of is chaotic out there, hence the name, but he is such a likeable character, but a joy to watch as well.
Yes, he's great fun, and like you say, one of the most animated players, if not the most animated player.
I think he is. He has to be
in the pro game.
Let's give him that award. But actually, he's been chatting to him quite a bit this week, obviously, because he had that run to the semi-finals, and I think he's really proud of the way he played. Not just, obviously, he's won many games before, but I think he's happy with the way he's playing, the way he's seeing his patterns, and the way he's going about his business. I think he's really proud of that.
Yes, I remember in his semi-final, I mean, the way he beat Ronan McCarthy in the previous match was absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's taking out finishes from everywhere.
And he was asked to take out a crate. Ronan said, here you go, you take out this finish. And it was horrible. And Ronan was happy all the way through for him to take it on, but he got there. And that's what you get with Cole Bedford. He has the X factor, doesn't he? He can take out finishes from anywhere. But he's identified what he needs to improve is his pattern play and simplify the game to be able to be more consistent.
I think in the semi-final, his break deserted him a little. He had 2 or 3 dry breaks, which, eventually cost him. And he obviously lost to, it was Mark Fleming. Mark Fleming from Scotland, who was actually flying himself, and he couldn't miss a ball in that semi-final. It's just unbelievable. And then, ironically, he gets to the final, and his break sort of deserts him, and then he starts missing a few.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it was Craig Waddingham who went on to capture the title.
Yeah. Amazing how it can go.
Yeah, if it's your day, it's your day.
And it's so hard to back things up. Craig Waddingham already eliminated. Mark Fleming eliminated at the first round. See our 2 semi-finalists, or losing semi-finalists here. Scott Gillespie and Cole Bedford are still batting, but one of them's going out here at the last 16 stage.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how it happens when you see, playing great form. It wins the very first event and then trips over very early in the next event. It's just. Even the great Tom Cousins, it's happened to him, where it looks like when he wins the first event, you think he's unbeatable this weekend, and then the next morning, does it come down to a bit of fatigue, or?
I think natural. I mean, it's just hard to win matches consistently against the best players in the world because it's so volatile. There are times when you don't get, you're not going to get a fair crack at it, and you might be limited to your chances.
I think another factor as well, Simon, is if you've just won the first event of the weekend, I mean, you're elated. And you think, well, what? I can't better it. I can only win the other event, and I think it's an acceptance there. Well, I've had a good weekend, sort of thing. And
yeah, I think it's
hunger
probably
maybe goes.
We should say that Tom Cousins has done that, though. He has won both events in a weekend, which is a special achievement.
Greedy is what I call it.
Greedy. Shane Thompson in year 1 as well. Shane Thompson really having a poor run of form at the moment, really struggling.
Yeah, saw him last night. Yesterday evening, he's fits and starts with him. He looks so great to start with, and then all of a sudden, inexplicably missed a long ball into the bottom right-hand corner, following up missing a similar pot the next frame into the same pocket, and then he sort of just all went wrong for him. And
well, the former number 1 player is, unless something happens in the last weekend of the year or the tournaments in between, there are very few tournaments left now. We'll be outside the top 32.
Really?
Going into next season. I mean,
he's fallen that far. You say 16 then?
No, he's going to be, unless something happens, he could be down somewhere near the 40s.
Good grief. And you would never said that, would you? It
was flying so high. 4 Pro Series titles for Shane. second only to Tom Cousins.
But then it does go to show the strength in the pro game. The youngsters coming through, you Luke Gilberts and players of that ilk. Every year there's new pros. We've got Sean Sharkey in there now, a great player. And Scott Gillespie coming back to somewhere near where he was a few years ago.
Little bit short this time though. Play comes down for the double, wanted to get somewhere nearer level. The 8 ball. Going corner now, you expect, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But it must be hard. I mean, when you're at the top, you can have blips, but then when it's a prolonged time of not winning anything or not getting anywhere near, then it starts to become a lot more psychological as well. You start doubting everything you do.
Yeah, and it really showed with Scott Gillespie. I mean, really was nowhere. Even though he was still having results, it was not like he fell down. We're not talking about he didn't fall down as far as we're talking Shane in the 40s. He was always in and around the 16. It's just it wasn't the player that was relentless pre-COVID.
That's a bit short there from Colt.
Well, both players just a little bit struggling to get the grips with the table right now in the opening frame.
Not enough Weetabix for breakfast.
Both these players were pretty happy to be told they were playing in the TV game because it meant they got an extra hour in bed. Well, maybe they're a little bit sleepy starting here. And Cole Bedford takes the opening frame. Sean Chipperfield, who has beaten Jordan Shepherd, and that will be our second quarterfinal as Chaos Cole flies in off on the break. And now we see his animation.
Well, he's abandoned that cut break that he deployed in the event 7, and now, which is just straight in off in the corner, all his own fault. And the yellows look very inviting for Scott Gillespie. And the Scotsman now getting plenty of table time.
Yeah, dealt with a couple of early moments. And to be fair, without being, obviously we're here to be critical and to analyse what's going on out there. The 2 chances he went wrong with neither of them were easy chances. They weren't sort of. You almost want to get a slightly easier chance than that to get going in the match. And then if he was already 1-0, 2-0 up, we'd have expected him to make those, and would be more critical. But for first chances, they were both very, 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 very tricky layouts.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's very kind of you to say so.
Oh, well, it's not often, but I have to just applaud you when you are.
Oh, we have some fun here, don't we?
You can't beat it, Simon.
Yeah, got to keep us sane in the commentary box somehow. Long weekends, but very enjoyable.
Well, it's been some great pull, that's for sure.
Yeah, it certainly has.
Seen Craig Waddingham land his first one of the season, or when was the last time Craig won one?
Last season, won the Champions League.
That's right.
That was his first Pro Series title, and he sort of hinted at it being a little bit of a monkey on his back. I don't really think it is. The Champions League's a major tournament, very different style, of course, but I think a lot of players put a lot of weight on the tournaments that are at the venues rather than, obviously the Champions League's played at the club, as are some of the other tournaments that we have, but the ones at the venue where everyone's there and you big staging and you've got your challenges and your women's series as well. I think there is players, whether they should or they shouldn't, just elevate that a little bit in their mind.
Yes, the prestige, I think, of being out in a bigger arena with a crowd, etc. It puts a little more on it. It gives you a bigger buzz.
Yeah, it's certainly. I mean, in terms of ranking points, in terms of prize money, it's not. I mean, he would have won the same for the Champions League as he would have won last night. But yeah, well, Scott's too thin here. This is a problem. Oh, he had to pinch the pocket there. He didn't want to. You saw the grimace. He really didn't want to pinch the pocket, but he has.
Well, it helps with all the right-hand side because it just transfers to the ball and just helps it slide in off that knuckle.
Tricky 8-ball though. Dispatched. 3 straight here for Scott Gillespie. He has found his rhythm. He is very much up and running, and because of that, Cole Bedford's going to leave the arena to go and reset.
Yeah, he won't be happy, Cole, with the gift of going straight in off.
Oh, do we have a bounce out? Is that the first one? I haven't seen one this week. We'll have to see that again on the replay. It sounded like it, but it may have just been jaw and out. No, it wasn't. It was Jaws. It was Jaws.
It was. I think we need a bigger boat.
Yeah. The only reason I reference it like that is that obviously, we don't know whether that's going to be a factor. Obviously, that was one of the big issues on the previous table. We had, way too many of those, and we hope that this table has solved that issue. Obviously, there's no guarantees until we see a serious amount of action on it. But that certainly wasn't. That was
It's inevitable.
Jaws.
Something's going to bounce out somewhere because it's just the laws of physics. Not everything at every speed can go in to a pocket, especially with the spin involved as well. If there's a spin, and you can only see it on the cue ball. You can't see it on the object balls.
Especially,
you could, but
especially in a deciding frame against Mick Hill in the European Championships. Something's going to bounce out.
I shouldn't even mentioned it.
Good chances for Colt. Get going once again. And that's an excellent shot. That really is. Done well hit.
Yep.
Needed this.
Well, he's still in it. Over 8 minutes left still. He's going to need a little favour from Scott Gillespie, break-wise, I think. But that was a must-win frame there for Cole Bedford.
And as soon as this match is finished, we will be straight on with our first quarter-final, Tom Cousins and Neil Raybone. This one might have some more mileage in it yet, though. Cole Bedford with another opportunity.
Well, he's finally made a ball and kept the cue ball on the table off his break.
Extension call.
He's the only player in the game that we get reaction cam for. Rather disappointing nothing from him there.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets away with that one. You can see he cues up on the right-hand side of the ball. That's how he cues, and then straightens up on the way through, but actually cued across that one. If he doesn't quite time it right, that can happen, and he nearly paid the price.
And he was up body swerving it in as well.
Oh, the recovery, though, is fabulous.
That's a brilliant shot. Mason's like, because he's a left-hander and he has his chalk in his right pocket, so he has to swap cue hand to get the chalk out. I don't know why I'm watching that, but it's just a, it's a
strange mannerism.
Yeah. Yeah, so he has to put his cue out of his holder that when he gets on the table, he's got it in his right hand, chucks it in his left hand, gets his chalk out, and he has to swipe it over again.
If he was to win the match, maybe that's what I need to say on interview. Why have you chalk in that pocket? Is he on the red, though? Is he on the red?
I don't think he is,
Oh, jeez.
Well,
that was crazy.
That's something from
Watch the cue ball here.
circus.
Jeez.
Oh,
Well,
that's brilliant.
And that will be, or should be, Cole Bedford's last shot here in Blackpool this week. He's already got his cue in his hand. He's already ready to walk out the arena. Scott Gillespie has a wide open chance here just to mop up, get the job done.
If he ever has his own TV show, that should be in the opening titles. That shot there, right there. But this is going to be another win for Scott Gillespie.
He's going to add a quarter-final to his semi-final from event 7. What a great run of form he's on. Champion at the European Open.
He's gathering lots of ranking points as well along the way.
And he was a runner-up earlier this year in the British Open as well. Having a fantastic year.
Just 2 balls away. From a place in the quarter-final. For the man from Scotland. Plays that perfectly. And now the simple 8-ball for Scott Gillespie.
Job done for Scott Gillespie. He had to put together some very good finishes and some very tricky 8-balls, but the Scotsman gets the job done. Gubisi is into the last 8, into the quarterfinals. Another run is on the way here. Going to hear from him after the break, and then we will move on to the quarterfinals. Tom Cousins will take on Neil Raybone, who will not have much time and will be out there with the action. Stay with us, plenty more to come today.
Yeah, it really is. They tend to just straighten up a little bit off of the... Depends on the pace you hit them. If you give it any pace at all, it'll straighten up off the second bounce. Expect this one, if it's going to... Yeah, I was going to say, if it... Oh, goodness me, Tom. Look where the cue ball's gone as well. Ouch.
Yeah, it looks a good fluke for a moment, and then your eye's drawn to where the cue ball's finished at.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's going to miss at all, it'll be to the top knuckle. And it was so far to the top knuckle that it hit the yellow and went in. It's not actually an easy snooker to get out of.
Wow, almost a miracle finish there. Almost found a way. And actually hasn't left it quite as bad as he might have done, all things considered.
I think we could possibly see Neil nudge the yellow off of the side cushion. No, he's going to go. Surprised. I thought he might just take the yellow off the side cushion and hide the cue ball in behind the yellows, but I think he just thinks that attack is the best form of defence here. Doesn't want to give Tom an opportunity to come back to the table with a one cushion escape.
He's had to go straight back out, having just completed that match against John Rowe, but it may not be a bad thing. He played very well in the second half of that match. Seems to be in a good place. I think he was looking forward to just getting back out on the table, especially as he had a day off on Friday, lost in the second round on Thursday, so a bit of a break before this tournament started. Oh, as we see a ball hang, I don't think you can believe that hasn't gone in.
How is that not dropped? That's crazy. I mean, it looked to the far knuckle all the way, but he played it at the right pace where you thought it had to take it, and that really does. That highlights the difference between this and a Supreme table, just in that one shot, because that goes all day long. You see this? It just goes to far knuckle. And it looked in all the way. Maybe just touched a finger mark along there, because it just seemed to just pull away a fraction towards that far knuckle. Because as soon as he let go of the cue, it looked like it was in. Just needs to screw straight back here. Doesn't want to flick the 8 ball. That's fine. Nice piece of cueing. Join us over on TikTok. There's already a huge following over there. We had something crazy even just for the tier 2 yesterday. Over 20,000 views. It's a good community building on there from all around the world, and it's good fun to watch as well. Just a little bit more light-hearted, bit of interaction with the chat box, which is always fun. Unlucky there from Neil. And Tom will be licking his lips. Reds look okay. Yellows, looks like he's choosing those. I think you can make a case for either. I mean, my first instinct was reds, but you can understand why he's going for yellows here. That's no good. He's come up way short of where he needed to be. I mean, having ball in hand and falling that short of position is... he's scratching his head. He's not quite sure what happened there. I don't know whether that was a kick or what happened. That was really odd.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, so much choice with the ball in hand. You can line the shot up exactly as you want it. Might just have left himself a double, but far from ideal. There's no way this is how he was playing it.
I mean, I can only assume that was a kick because he was a foot short of pace. Yeah, possibly not even a kick. It might have just been the way he played it. Just almost seemed to play a sort of stun follow through rather than topping it.
That double has largely recovered it. Got to a similar-ish position to where he'd have been had he just played it down the rail.
Oh,
well, struggling with the cue ball right now, isn't he?
Isn't he ever? We saw Chris Melling do that yesterday and follow a ball into the middle, and Tom did not expect it to go on that line. He's still in good shape, but I think Neil will be sat in the background thinking, what is going on here? Have I not had a chance? He's going to end up losing this frame, but there's a couple of things that could have gone wrong for Tom there. Somehow he's worked it out, as he often does.
Yeah, from a casual look, you'd have said this clearance has gone fine, but actually a couple of shots not really as played. He's just had to recover it. Recovered it well, though. So, 2-all now.
Another monster break from Top Cat.
Although this match has progressed at a lively pace for the most part, we've actually used up 40 minutes of the 50, so time is starting to become a factor here if Neil wants to get back into it. After this shot, we're going to hear the chimes for the last 10 minutes of the match and be down to the 15-second shot clock. If that just played quick enough, he can have one more 30 seconds and then he'll be down to that. Not so much a factor for Tom, because when you're ahead in a match, the time pressure isn't felt so much. That chime in the background signifying the 10-minute mark.
Second shot clock now in play.
Wow. A little flick on the yellows caused him a problem. Now that red doesn't go. Can't get through to the potting angle. So he needs to develop it. He's used his extension, so he was rushed. That's not a bad shot for a man that was rushed. Immediately saw it and just ducked in for cover. Has he just leaked out too far and left this yellow to top right? Don't think so. Oh, wanted the yellow to sit. Sorry, the cue ball to sit on the yellows. But it's okay. It's a messy table now. And that plays into Tom's hands.
One good thing in that shot from Neil's perspective, he got a yellow over the left-hand side of the table, which may be useful to him, and I think he's going to be able to see it here.
Yeah, I think he has to play this shot as well. 8 minutes 30 left on the clock. I think yellow cushion first into the red. Red into the yellow could open up everything here. Conversely, if he gets it wrong, it opens up everything for Tom. Oh, he's on one. That's come out absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he's played that really well, hasn't he?
Was just trusting to luck a tiny bit, but deserved it. He played a great shot. It was just leaked away a fraction too far, but it's okay. You can just drop this in. When the cue ball out into the two reds, can use the reds as a buffer if he needs to. But he doesn't. Yeah, it's okay. I thought he just finished a fraction straight, and straight was no good there, but he's got an angle that he can punch out. In fact, he didn't even bother, just took his medicine. I think a lot of players would have just tried to spin that cue ball a little bit further down the table. Wow. That is a frame that you felt was going to go Tom Cousins' way.
4 minutes 23 remaining. If Tom was to come up dry or go in off, there would be time for Neil to get into it, but if he makes a ball, it's hard to see much future. Well, he's made 3 balls.
Is he going to make a ball? Yes, it's Tom Cousins. I mean,
Did almost make the cue ball. That was a glimmer of hope for Neil.
absolutely brutal break. Huge.
Sensibly calling his extension. Very happy now to waste a bit of time.
Yeah, I think he's got a nice angle on the one top yellow to just come across and can the red out of the way and leave himself on the only ball that's really going to cause him a problem. Just cushion first into the back of the red, or just promote the yellow on. I mean, it went in. That's equally fine because I'm pretty sure he's on the other yellow at the top of the table. If not, he's got a long one to bottom left. If he's not on the one at the top of the table, it's one that he's going to have to come back for. So, will that cause him a problem? Will that cause him a problem? Well, that's a delightful kiss. Now he can come across and leave a nice angle to come back up table. In fact, I don't think he's going to try and get back up off of this one. He'll leave the ball to the middle now to land on the one at the top of the table. He's got a nice angle here. Probably just wants to come up inside the 8 ball, just come around the 8. Just leave himself kind of on the line of... Oh, he's screwed up inside it. He's come right up table now. Didn't need to use the ball over middle for transition.
This match effectively won already, because even if he does miss a ball now, 2.5 minutes remaining, very hard to see why Neil's going to get 2 clearances in that time from. And Tom is still batting in this one.
It's very good.
It's been a good performance, this. Good standards from both players.
Yeah. Playing that ball at that pace and coming up and down the table, just missing the red at the bottom of the table. I mean, he's using the whole clock now just to try and burn it down, because he knows whatever happens, he's going to have a very tough 8 ball. But if he misses it, there's only 2 minutes left on the clock, and that's the reason for just burning it down. Neil grabbing his cue, ready to jump out of the table, jump out of his chair if Tom does miss this. Was there ever any doubt? Neil forlornly grabbing his cue in the background in the hope that Tom might miss it, and he pulls out an absolute monster of a pot. Brilliant. Yeah, just nice to have a runner. Not a big bet, just an interest to have a runner in the field. And I thought Aaron played really well in event 7. He's got a tough game, obviously, against Scott Gillespie. Very tough game, but none of them are easy when you get to this stage.
Go and tell him you've got money on him, and that'll gee him up a bit, won't it?
No, he'll try and lose if he knows I'm on him.
A bit heavy there from Callum. Still got those midges about. So it's been quite warm up here. No aircon, so yeah, it's been a bit clammy in the arena. A couple of players have mentioned it as we've gone along. We've seen a few sword fights with cues and flies and things over the course of the 4 days. Callum there covering the bag, or covering the red, shall I say. Well, there's no point in playing the loss of turn here. Oh wow, what a shot. Do you know, I never thought of that. Sure, Chipper playing the loss of 10, but it's so much side, he sent the cue ball behind the red. Very, very clever.
Yeah.
I missed that one completely, which is not hard because of my lack of safety play. That's a really, really good shot there from Sean Chipperfield.
He is a clever player. He sees them so quickly.
Just enough there for Chippy. He's on the red as well. Screws back through the gap perfectly.
Just looking to see their head-to-head. But I don't think they've ever played each other. There's no record of a head-to-head between them, which would be quite unusual to have never met on Ultimate Pool. I might have to check that out after the match just to see if they have. So you think that they would have clashed at some point, but there's absolutely no history on the head-to-head.
Wow.
Oh, goodness me, look at that.
How wide is that?
Yeah.
That's miles away.
I mean, it seemed to bounce off at a strange angle. Didn't seem to catch it bad.
That's incredible, miss.
He's missed it by 4 or 5 inches. I mean, it's either a misjudgment or just something. As I say, it just seemed to bounce off at a strange angle. And obviously gives Callum a great chance to tidy this up in the first frame, and importantly take one against the break as well.
Down goes the black. Callum Singleton now leading 1-0 against Sean Chipperfield after Chippy missing a double black.
Frame 4. Callum Singleton trailing by 1 frame. 11.5 minutes gone off the clock. 3 frames already under our belt. Good break from Callum. Bit of traffic in the middle of the table. A couple of balls tied up. Not sure he's got. Well, I was going to say, I'm not sure he's got an opener on reds, but he has. He's got this one down to bottom left if he wants it. So he's got choices. He's got openers on reds or yellows. It's just about how he sees the pattern, how he sees trying to develop the balls. I think yellows probably, just because the yellows are fairly close together and gives him an option to be able to try and develop. He wanted to leave an angle on this one at the top to be able to come down and punch out the yellow and the red tied up together, but he's just finished a bit straight. If he can't get into that ball straight away, this suddenly becomes a bit more difficult. So much so that he's going to play a little defensive shot. That was all about that angle. If he left the angle there, he would have attacked. Nice little shot though, because obviously he's still developed his difficult yellow. Left Sean absolutely nothing to go at. I mean, Sean's a creative player, but pick the bones out of this. That's clever. Little loss of turn.
What if that yellow goes into the centre though, past the black ball? If not, he's got the one down into the bottom right hand corner. Tough shot. Well, both are tough shots. If he goes for the one in the bottom right hand corner, the cue ball can go into the 2 reds and he can land on the yellow there that's in the middle of the table.
No.
Missed the pot.
Missed it by a way as well.
You see what he's trying to do there.
Yeah.
But then he has opened the 2 reds up now for Sean Chipperfield as well.
Yeah, and I think it's tight, but I think the red is closest to may just pass. If not, it does double. I think it passed. No.
They're going to be the last couple of balls there,
Yeah.
Nick, I think.
Yeah.
We want to pop this in. Trunk off the bottom rail into that right-hand side rail and get into the middle of this cluster of 3 reds. Just like that. He wants a bit more pace. Then he can't go in the middle if he doesn't fancy that in the corner first. Ideally, he'd have liked another ball roll.
Yeah, bottom corner just run into the other red and it holds him on the outside of the 3. He's changed his mind. No, it was that shot. Play the cannon. Leave yourself on the one to right centre.
And make sure he leaves himself an angle to get up for the other 2 balls, and he has done. That's perfect.
Yeah, you can go up for the top one. You could hold for the bottom.
Yeah,
Actually.
this is always the ball.
Yeah.
Natural to get onto last, red into the same pocket.
I thought the angle was just a bit too big to hold there. What a shot. Just gets down and pumps it in.
And Sean Chipperfield. Nice impressive finish there. And he now goes into a 3-1 lead against Callum Singleton.
Dry.
Disgruntled Singleton goes back to his chair.
Yeah, that's the time you just want to.
You do when you've just had a frame where that you probably should have lost.
Yeah.
You've nicked it. You think, right, Get a ball off the break.
Yeah.
Clear up.
Yeah.
Rub some salt into Sean's wounds. Especially,
Keep him sat
get
down.
himself and two in front. We're into the last third of the match.
Not a straightforward finish there. All the balls have a pocket, but cue ball needs to be on a string here. It's just about weaving your way.
For me, the only ball that's of any significance really that to worry, well, not worry, but is the yellow next to the black.
Yeah, yeah. That was the one I was referring to. The fact that the angle is guarded by the two reds above, so you just really need to give attention to how you land on that. You either come very wide of it, but then you're running into the 8. Does cause a bit of an issue.
You could get on it now. We could just roll this in the middle and play the one at the top and come down.
Cannon into the red. Yeah, it's perfect. Or just come below. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well worked out. I mean, it wasn't the trickiest of clearances, but it needed a little bit of intricacy, a little bit of craftsmanship. It makes them look so simple. Just, a minute later and the table's cleared and you think, what happened there?
There goes a black.
Very good cue ball all the way through that. He was on a sixpence. Surely not a dry break. I mean, Callum Singleton is going to like what he sees here. Chippy would just want to get the job done. He doesn't want to prolong this anymore. But you've got to say, Callum deserves to have a chance after what's gone. It would have been unfair for him to not get back to the table and just have a go at it. So a chance to pull back to 6-5. Taking his time. Oh no. No, sir. You can understand why he wanted to go yellows there, because there's no red to get onto the 8. The red he would have had to potted to start with, the one in the middle, would have been the natural ball to get on the 8. So then, after he takes that, there's nothing else on the table that really links up with the 8 ball. So you can understand why he wants to go yellows. Because there was a much easier opener on reds. And reds aren't actually laid out that badly. It was just, how'd you get on the 8?
Well, this should be all over now. Sean Chipperfield. The finishing line is within sight. A place in the semi-finals and a date with Tom Cousins here at stake, courtesy of these yellows and the black. Coming up after this, we will have our third quarter final. That is Greg Batten versus Sean Storry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Greg, another one from down our neck of the woods, down in the West Country. Coming from Tiverton.
Indeed, Tiverton in Devon.
Yeah, nice to see Greg having a deep run.
An old Pac-Man. And then the last quarter final to finish us off will be Scott Gillespie, who's in fine form, playing the Nick Finn's tip.
The cyborg.
The cyborg Aaron Davis, yeah.
I mean, I say he's a tip. I mean,
And then we'll be back to women's semi-finals.
He's got a tough game there against Scott. Scott's playing so well.
Everybody's got a tough game against Scott.
Yeah.
Well, this shot now just wants to slide off this rail up the table. Played it quite softly.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure he didn't snook himself. He wants to come a bit further. That's okay. I thought for a minute it was going to stop in the mud. Anyway, this for the match. In it goes. And Sean Chipperfield makes his way to the semi-final. He beats Callum Singleton 7 frames to 4. Don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to be hearing from Sean Chipperfield. It's been an error-strewn start from both.
Obviously, Sean always had the problem with the 8 ball, but you expected him to go for those.
Can Greg get through to the one in the middle? I think you can, you know. I think you can snip it in.
Yeah, and he's going to cannon naturally into that red, which will kill some of the pace. Oh,
rushed.
Well, did he need to play that with backspin? It felt like if he just played it plain ball, the red was naturally going to push away.
Well, this has been a bizarre start to this match.
Can he play red off yellow to move the 8 ball, or is he going to play cue ball into the cluster?
I'm telling you, Greg Batten's done that because this is his first match on the TV this week. He's been out on the outer tables with no shot clock, and it's just escaped him. He's been so used to, you know, getting that extra bit of time to make his mind up, and well, that's not fantastic, but it's okay. And I'm only saying okay. He's got a cut into the corner, quite slim, or the red must pass into the middle. Well, he's been a bit fortunate there then. Did look tighter, but he's fine.
Played a good shot to get the 8 ball out at the beginning of this clearance, so now everything's waiting for him. Strange first frame this. Both players will feel like they could have won it. This really feels like the proper part of the tournament now. Only 6 players remaining in the event. 2 through already to the semi-finals. This and 1 more quarter to come. Then there'll be a bit of a break. Have some action from the Women's Pro Series. Then we'll be getting back to the semi-finals of this event later on tonight. Still quite a lot of pool to be played around the venue. Still got the Challenger Tier 1 and 2 events in play. Not the optimum angle here. He has got some angle to work with at least. He's going in the wrong direction, but plenty of space to work around in the bottom half of the table. Well, it's given that the treatment, and that's not a good outcome. This ball very missable now. This is a thin clip, so easy just to brush this into the cushion. Problem of his own making this, handed off angle on that last red, and then went for a fairly extravagant shot to get onto the black, which hasn't really come off. Oh, good shot though. Harder than it looks.
Yeah, great shot there from Sean.
I'm not sure it's very likely to go to a deciding frame, just on time alone though. There's only 19 minutes remaining.
No chance. That's to be the biggest turnaround in how the players have approached each and every frame so far. They'll have to start playing at a gallopy pace, which isn't going to happen. It's certainly not going to happen from Sean, because he doesn't have to be rushed in any way, shape or form now, because he's got a 4-1 lead, which you have to say it's a commanding lead at the moment. I know there's just under 19 minutes left on the match clock, but it's Sean at the table. If he could run these reds out, he's in an incredibly strong position.
Yeah, it's just not going right for Greg at the moment. Could have done with something off that break.
Up next will be Scott Gillespie against Aaron Davis. That'll be our last quarter-final. The very much in form Scott Gillespie, should I say. But Aaron Davis very, very steady indeed, and playing some good stuff himself. Had a decent run in Event 7, trying to better in event 8. Of course, the winner of this will play the winner of that match.
And of course, that quarter-final is a repeat of the quarter-final from event 7.
It is, yes.
Scott Gillespie and Aaron Davis finished their match at 5 apiece. Aaron Davis then set a time of 29 seconds for the 6 red.
Yeah, I was on that.
And Scott Gillespie found a quicker clearance and followed it with a big celebration, as well he might, because he was under a lot of pressure at the end of that match. You know that quarter's going to be hard fought. Both of those two are real match players. They don't give you anything easily. A bit like Sean Storry, similar mould, just grinds you down. Not to say they don't play attacking stuff, but they just get the job done by whatever means. Our first semi-final is already lined up. Tom Cousins will take on Sean Chipperfield. That one you fancy might be a slightly quicker game. Those are two gentlemen that like to get on with their pool.
Yeah, that'll be a fabulous game to watch with Chippy and Top Cat. Obviously Tom going out first round of event 7 to Mark Fleming, who then went on an incredible run and lost in the final. But Tom very much in the ascendancy now in event 8, looking quite determined. I think, okay, one bad tournament's enough, so I need to follow that with a win.
Yeah, and I don't think he thinks he played badly. I've asked him in a couple of interviews about the Mark Fleming game, and both times he said it was just a case of Mark playing well. I think Tom kind of brushed that off fairly lightly and then just got back to normal service today.
I mean, that semi-final when Mark Fleming played Cole Bedford, I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. And then it all just sort of went wrong for him in the final against Craig Waddingham, who obviously won the tournament. This for 5-1 for Sean Storry. And in it goes. And autopilot is on autopilot now.
You can only do what's in your own control, though. It's his break, so just focus on this frame. Well, unsurprisingly, a bit of venom in that one. Not a bad layout. The yellows are generally the better colour set. He's just got the one that's tied up. Maybe he can play this first yellow off the red. Does he dare play that as his first shot? Or he could play for the ball in the middle first and then play that shot. So he's going to tidy up the two balls at the bottom of the table.
Well, it's going to be yellow off the red into this corner.
Good angle to play the shot from because he can play position on the other ball. Oh, and that's a nice touch.
Friendly, very friendly, and leave the angle. So this will be one of them.
Taking it quickly as well, which is obviously what he needed to do.
Been arguably his best frame has played at pace.
Good clearance from Greg. All the pressure was off. 6-1 down. Raced through it. Good finish in the end.
There's one of them. It's not going to be dry. The red's going. Got 2 reds. No, he hasn't. 1 red.
Well, for a moment it looked like he was going to pot the white. Then it looked like he was going to come dry. But it ended up okay for him.
Well, Batten at the table.
He doesn't need to be in a rush either. If he just makes this clearance, he'll still have 5 or 6 minutes left. That will be time.
Trying to swerve around and put the red over the bag. Got it, and he's also got on that red at the top. So a real chance here to make it 6-4.
Surely he couldn't. Got to keep believing though, whatever the scoreline is.
Need a big pot now though. And I'll tell you what, any misread here was going to present Sean Storry with a golden opportunity to finish this match off.
Yeah, he absolutely can't miss. Oh, has this gone wrong? Does that red pass the yellow bottom left?
I don't think it does. You can get to the other one on the up the table, but that's a really tough pot up in that top right corner.
Running out of time as well.
And that was close.
It's not a time foul, but he has missed the pot. And that, you feel, could be the end of the comeback, because these yellows are sat very nicely for Sean Storry.
Yeah, and he has an extension in hand as well, wants to steady himself. Not just yet though. He'll save that in case he falls into some little bit of bother somewhere along the line.
Yeah, not easy to see where that would come from, because these balls are well spaced out around the table. Going to go up top and remove the balls at the top of the table next. And then he'll be left with 3 over the pockets at the bottom. Spirited mini comeback from Greg Batten, but looks to have run out of steam. I tell you what, Sean's running it incredibly close with the shot clock.
I wouldn't be wanting to do that. Not when you got the match at your mercy. I don't know why he's getting so close. I mean, it's 4 or 5 occasions now.
I mean, here. Well, a bit
That
quicker
was a bit
that time.
better. It just seems it's almost like he's waiting for it to go to like 1 second. I mean, because we're hearing the buzzer actually go as he's just hit the ball just before.
I mean, it kind of makes sense in this position, because he is trying to waste time, but he's been doing it right from the beginning of the match. Looks like it will be too little too late though for Greg Batten. Just these 3 balls now for Sean to book his place in the semi-final.
Extension, you reckon?
Certainly have used it if he'd have slipped out of position, but he hasn't needed it.
I'll use it now. Use it now and do a lap of honour before you pot the black. This for the match.
Entertaining match. One that Greg Batten got off to a bad start in and ultimately just left himself a bit too much to do.
Nick Finn and Simon Webb with you on commentary. And Nick, this is a really good battle. Aaron's quietly having a very good weekend, and Goobsy is just back to form. He's back to the Scott Gillespie we have known for many years.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been keeping an eye on this, on both of their progress, to be honest, and I think this could be a very close game. They've already met once this weekend. If you look at their head-to-head, they've only seemed to have met once before. There's only one in the files anyway, and that was in event 7, which ended up 5 each and a 6-red shootout, which Scott Gillespie just pipped Aaron to the post.
Yeah, it was a good comeback actually from Aaron. Scott will probably feel like he should have won the match. Aaron came back and kind of made it a 6-red. Scott actually had a chance in that 11th frame to get a buzzer beater, didn't take it, missed quite early on. And that was the 6-red, but was able to get the job done in the 6-red. Aaron went first and set 30 seconds or thereabouts, and Scott had the control and the poise to beat it. It was a really exciting match, actually. Just enough out there happening to make it quite exciting all the way through. Been the big talking point of the weekends is the tables and how tight they are, and it has changed. Every player I've interviewed, every player I've spoken to, they've said that we've had to change our patterns, we've had to think about the games differently, more breaking balls out from cushions, but more really working on the pattern, which is exciting. And Scott Gillespie is very positive about them himself. I haven't spoken to Aaron about the tables actually, he's one of the players I haven't got to yet. But I
think this is only the second time that Aaron's played on this table over the weekend as well. I don't think he's been at it too often. Scott's been at it a few times, so I don't know if that just plays slightly into Scott's hands. But I mean, all the tables are the same. It's slightly different environment, slightly different conditions here to the outside tables, but it's nice to see identical tables across all of the rooms.
It is, but even with the identical tables now, the players are still saying they're playing. For whatever reason, Sean Chipperfield played out a couple of matches ago, and he said, I just couldn't get the feel. I've been playing on the other tables throughout the weekend, and this just plays that little bit quicker. And to be honest, I know it's easy to say there's bigger lights on this table than there is on the others, which there are, but those lights don't really generate any heat. It is bizarre to think that there obviously has to be a reason for it, because it is a real thing, but it does play that just touch quicker, that touch different.
Yeah, I mean, look at Jordan Shepherd, for example. He struggled this weekend on the outside tables. He came off of this table yesterday and he said it was absolutely fantastic. He loved it. He broke really well and dominated. And then this morning he's come out and lost 7-1 to Sean Chipperfield on one of the outside tables.
While we're talking about that, Aaron's made a very good start. Brilliant breaking clearance, and he takes the opening frame. Quarter-final in the European Open. And then obviously lost out to Scott Gillespie in the quarterfinals in event 7, and here he is again.
Yeah, he's just starting to build momentum, isn't he? Well, he wants to be Reds, but the only one he's got is the one that's to the left of the 8 ball. I say Reds because of where the yellow is just below the 8. That is a bit of a problem. You can definitely make a case for yellows, but to say that one below is just a bit of a problem. So he's going to have a long testing opener. If he gets this right, cues it well. Oh dear.
Not happening for Scott right now.
No, it's not. I think he felt playing at that pace, he couldn't fail to be on something towards the top of the table. Didn't expect him to leak in behind those yellows. Now he's got a treacherous double. No, missed it by some way as well. We've seen that a couple of times over the course of the day. Sean Chipperfield played a much easier double than that earlier and missed it by 4 or 5 inches. Scott equally far away with that, but it wasn't easy. He did get the second part of the equation right in that he's not left Aaron anything easy to go after. So Aaron's just going to look at playing a little safety shot. But again, it's another one he needs to just be careful. I was just about to say, is he taking a double? Yeah, he didn't feel that the safety was on. Scott already looking to see whether the 8 ball goes into bottom right. It definitely goes into left centre. If it doesn't pass the bottom right, that was a big risk there from Aaron. And if he gets that double, it does pay dividends because the yellows were there, but
he's one of the best on the tour at the doubles, though. He's so confident with them.
Just a little bit surprised. I thought he just might try the defensive option there. He obviously felt that the safety shot was too difficult, and that one is another one that's got away from Scott Gillespie. He was playing on the ball that's closest to the right corner pocket. Another one. He's got it to middle, but the cue ball's tracking away from where he wants to be. He's going to have to play this into the middle and screw off the top cushion. Unless he can just have enough noise. No, he is topping it, so maybe he can just have the position. Have to play another one here. close to his work. He needs to come around 2 cushions, back across for the red that's below this one, into the same pocket.
Got to find a good line and a good pace.
Yeah.
The 8 ball's not wide open at the bottom.
I think the 8 ball does pass the bottom right. I think he's decided that it does. That needs to run. Just got there. Yeah, he's looking again.
Do you think he is there though? Do you think he can play this slow enough to hold for 8 ball bottom right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. His problem is if it doesn't go to bottom right, then it's hard to get where he's pointing now. Well, I think he must have decided that it doesn't go to bottom right, and he's going to try and come twice across the table.
Oh, misses the pot.
Well.
Yeah. Would have been on the 8 ball awkwardly, but he would have been on it. Big frame, 4-0, 3-1. Now that Scott's missed another chance, 2 in the frame he's had. This could really start to break the back of the match. Coming up on the halfway point on the clock as well. 1 bad ball on the table for Aaron, and enough room to play short position.
Yeah, he can go up for it now if he wants to.
Doesn't have to though. He could use the one top left to get across.
Yep.
It should be easy to leave himself a 3/4 ball angle, which gives him all the room in the world. Doesn't want to be straight. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Could I play above it or underneath it here, depending on what pocket. Underneath it, you've got one option. Go above it, you've got chance to be on the centre or the corner. But he had so much room to play with, confident enough to get there that he's landed plumb.
Bounces the cue ball on off the top cushion. Leaves a lovely angle just to punch this in and hold for the last yellow. And looking odds on now to go 4 in front. It's all Aaron Davis at the moment. In fairness to Scott Gillespie, he's not had too many Giltes chances.
It'd be a strange feeling for Scott. 4-0 down, 2-0 before he had a shot. And in the last 2 frames he has had chances, but nothing you could really say, oh, he should get these.
Yeah,
he's got pretty close to chasing one there. Yeah, he shouldn't have missed the pot, but it was going to be difficult to get on the 8 ball. It felt like he's just had big shots to play in.
Well, even that
really tough.
That Aaron Davis dry break, I mean, when Scott came to the table, he had that great big cluster of balls on the right-hand side. It's just been a mess every single time.
Amy Beecham beat Megan Proctor, a rematch of the semi yesterday. Sorry, Nick.
No, that's sorry. I was speaking over you. I'll come back to mine in a minute after this break. And, well, look at this layout. And suddenly that in-off from Aaron Davis, that unlucky in-off with this layout, looks like, as it often does, could cost him 2 frames. I was just about to mention that over in Challenger Tier 1, the dream of the back-to-back for Rob Dagnall has come unstuck. Jake Dillon Newlove's beaten him 6-5 in the quarter-final, but what a weekend Rob Dagnall's had. Winning event 7, quarter-final in event 8, only to be beaten in a hill-hill game by the Butcher, and the semi-finals starting to take shape in that Tier 1. Jack Schofield also through into the semi-final. Zach Cooper on the hill against Martin Hazel, and Darryl Whitworth is 3-2 up against Tom Church.
Nice to see Darryl have a good run. A player that you feel probably should be in the pro ranks in terms of his game, although I'd say that about most of the names that you've just read out, especially Jake Dillon Newlove. I mean, he's a fabulous player. Nice to see Zach Cooper have a run. Big fan of Zach's game. Now Scott just taking his time to work this one out. It is pretty much there for him. Doesn't really need to play anything big, just keep it simple. He had an option there, and it's interesting to see the way he's played it. He had the option, he could have dropped that in yellow left centre, but then if he gets the wrong angle, then he might have a problem getting on the other yellow at the bottom of the table, and he could have just got himself a touch tangled, which is why he's come up the table, and in fact he's actually come a touch too far up, but controlled that one well. And he only had to do was leave the other yellow at the top of the table as his connection to the 8-ball. So even with a layout that looks, well, I'd hate using the word, but simple, it still needs you to give it that extra second of thought just to make sure and make it simple, and that's what Scott Gillespie has done.
And oh, how one piece of misfortune for Aaron Davis getting kicked in off can change a match. From 4-0, what quite probably would have been 5-0, now going to be 4-2. He'll start to feel the pressure now. You also start to look at the clock, because half an hour gone, 20 minutes left. The last time these two met, it ended up 5 apiece and a 6-red shootout. Are we on track for that again?
Aaron Davies will hope not. Not from 4-1 in, or 4-0 in front as it was, but now 4-2.
Has to make a ball, has to keep the cue ball on the table, needs a good layout. It's not been working for him so far, but he needs one right now. No way.
No way. That's incredible. How many jaws has he hit there? How many jaws did he rattle? Now, there is some good news here for Aaron Davies. Reds are the colour set here, and Scott Gillespie, I don't believe, has a red on. So there is some hope, because if he has to take yellows, what does he do with the two at the top of the table?
Well, I mean, the question also, where's the opening yellow? Because is he not knuckled on this one? I thought he was sat behind the knuckle, but he could get through. He could just get through. But you're absolutely right. What's the plan for the yellows at the top of the table? So, could this be a lifeline for Aaron Davies? Scott Gillespie is going to have to pull out another monster finish here. But he will be over the moon to be at the table. Well, it's going to be all about the combination shot. If he gets this, it's game over.
It's so good. Obviously, Scott Gillespie has such a big background. He's a black ball world champion, where the combination has been obviously around an awful lot longer than players coming through the other side. But there really is something about Scottish players in combination shots. They're incredibly good at them, by and large.
Is that the hold up?
Oh, now it's delicate. It's actually nice to have the angle, but now you've got to pot to half a blind pocket, come across the table and find a gap.
And he's loading it up the side. Oh my goodness me.
The difference between not being straight and being straight was ginormous. If he's straight, it's roll through, tap, tap, in front. That was massive.
Even if that drops, look where he landed.
It actually would have been possibly better for Aaron if it had a drop.
Yeah, yeah. And now it looks like Aaron may have to make a combo shot in amongst this.
There is time. If Aaron could have found a way to hold the cue ball to play a loss of term with one of the reds at the top of the table, there is actually time to play that tactical exchange, just about. But he may have to go here, but he can't go in such a way that he doesn't leave time for Scott to play the 3 shots he would need. So the pressure here is massive.
He's tried to leave an angle.
Oh, this is actually really clever from Aaron, because, like you say, the angle. If he can get back to where he is now, that sort of line, he can play short position.
Yep. And he really only needs to play to an area, because if he doesn't land on the one to bottom left, he would have the one to middle. That's a really good line. So he can just stun across table now. And 1 minute 29 left on the clock. You'd think if he gets these, there's going to be no time for riposte. All about this shot. Massive shot coming up for Aaron Davis.
He's a touch short. He's
He's
probably
okay.
just about got there.
He's okay.
Yeah. It's actually perfect, isn't it?
It is.
Just went that extra roll.
Yeah.
That was all he needed.
Just needs to drop this in and bounce the cue ball off the bottom cushion. The other red waiting. I'm surprised he played at that pace.
That is brilliant.
I thought he was going to just drop it in and leave the red for the middle.
He should use the beeps here. He should use all the way down to 0.
Absolutely.
He's not going to.
Absolutely.
What a moment for Aaron Davies, and he shows his emotion. That was fabulous.
That's something you never see from Aaron Davis.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fabulous break. Dry, and he's out. And it is dry.
Wow, it is dry.
And he's going to shake hands here. A fabulous match. These two have delivered twice this weekend. First time round, it was a 6-red shootout. Scott Gillespie getting the victory. This time round, it is Aaron Davies with a brilliant finish to edge himself in front. And he books his place into a semi-final of the Pro Series. What a match. Let's hear from Aaron next.
He's going to be turning this one over as well. Yeah, needed to put a big shot out there. And Marion Jude gets her first chance at the table. Still work to do, and she's got that ball that's tied up at the top of the table, also the red on the left hand side cushion. And with this new Rasson Apollo table, we can't take any of these shots for granted, can we? How have you found them over the weekend? Obviously pretty well. You've just won an event.
I absolutely love them. They're wonderful tables, but they've got a good feedback from a lot of the players, so I'm not alone in that. But yeah, down the rails, they are tough. And they've caught me out quite a few times this weekend. Marion
just playing a little defensive shot.
Yeah, good container there. She's a bit worried, I think, about the red and yellow tied up. Need to make sure that either get on that red properly or get a good cannon.
Yeah, and she's almost forcing Amy to deal with the problem that she had as well in breaking that ball out. And now everything in the open.
Chance to go. Take the first frame.
Yep. She's got red to middle.
It's a tough opener, I think. You're still kind of fresh out there in the arena, first time this weekend for Marion.
Deciding that she's not ready to go yet. She tries to play a little containing shot again, but she has left the edge of this yellow. I'm not sure if it's just too far past the pocket to be able to cut back. She can see the edge of it.
I got a lot of respect for that safety shot there. I think Marion's a very measured player around the table. A lot of players have a go at that red in the middle, but she's just decided, wait a visit.
Yeah.
Might get something easier, but Amy doesn't give up anything easy.
I think she goes here now, though. She's got the red to middle. The middles play pretty well on these tables. I think if she just trusts herself, she can get this, and the cue ball should naturally come through the gap of the 8-ball and the yellow. And she's just ran into the 8-ball. I thought she could just avoid it, but she's left a very thin one down the left-hand side cushion. She's got one to the top right pocket as well, but that's another tough pot.
I think it's the easier of the two choices.
Yeah.
All on this shot.
Very nice.
Wonderfully played.
Yeah, took that really well. This lady's pro is just riddled with talent, isn't it? It's a great platform, and also with the Challenger series as well, allowing the promotion and demotion in the same way that it's got in the men's game. I really did like that change this year.
Yeah, it's a wonderful setup. It's been an absolute honour to take part, playing some world standard players, learning from them.
Yeah, and your game, I mean, your game's been gradually growing, and you've made some deep runs, and now finally picked up that Pro Series title last night. I mean, what does that mean to you in terms of your career and your growth?
It means everything. I think for the last 2 years I've kind of had the confidence that I'm capable of winning tournaments, but it's a different world out here. Like being on the stream table, being on the outside tables, just being in hot competitive play. And it took a little while to get used to that.
Yeah.
So that win last night meant so much to me because it shows me that I'm capable now of actually going all the way, of actually doing it, not just in theory but in practice.
Yeah, it is big. It is big. 18 minutes left on the clock as well, so you're right, there's a fair bit of time gone off the clock. You know, another sticky frame, we could be down into the 10-minute territory. You know, this is an absolutely massive... I tell you what, when it's your
Just
day,
saved.
that cue ball is going straight in off, and it just gets a little flick out the way. You watch this, goes straight towards that top pocket, gets a kick, and then gets kicked out.
Although in her defence, that white was kicked toward the pocket, so in some sense I guess the universe is realigned.
Yeah.
And those reds now are looking great.
I was just saying that this is a must-win frame for Amy. You feel if she goes 5-1 behind, we're going to be around about 14 minutes on the clock. That's not a lot of time to win 4 on the bounce, to even think about levelling things and the possibility of a 6-red shootout. This is a big frame for both players. Marion will be in absolute comfort zone if she gets it. Amy needs it.
Yeah, these are the clearances where you feel the nerves the most, I think, even if you are 4-1 in front. I think you know what this clearance means in the context of the match.
I know.
She's got a really good angle on that red as well, just to track down, and that transitions down to the bottom half of the table beautifully.
Yeah.
So she's really composed on this now.
It's not perfect, but it's okay. I think she hit that a little bit thicker than she wanted. She's still got a good angle to drop down onto the bottom rail. That looks good. A little bit straight, but I don't think she needs to do too much with the cue ball. She's just got enough angle just to bring it off an inch or two.
Yeah, she just wants to get straight enough on this red so she can roll through for the 8 ball in the bottom left corner.
Yep.
But it'd be a nervy shot with the white so close to the cushion.
Yep. Can't play off the yellow. The yellow's too far above the middle pocket, so that's not going to help her. She has to pot it clean.
This is a test of composure, this one.
She can't drop it in dead weight either, because she just needs to get that cue ball running through. That's
Great
perfect.
shot.
Brilliant shot.
An 8 ball now for a commanding lead in this semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is now a mountain to climb for Amy. It is, but I think despite this being Marion's first full year, she's had a lot of experience with international pool. So I think she will be quite composed. I think she's used to these matches now.
Well, she'll be delighted with what she sees there as well, won't she? Dry break from Amy.
But I think whatever standard you play, Amy is an intimidating player. She's just so brilliant at clearing up from anywhere that you don't feel comfortable with making anything difficult for yourself in case you've got a mistake, because Amy will punish you for it.
You come back to the moment earlier when Amy called the foul on herself. She touched the ball. I mean, that was a gimme clearance, which Marion then took. If Amy takes that, we're at 4 each.
4 each, yeah.
Just shows, doesn't it? It's just those tiny little things that can make the difference late in the match.
Well, that's fine margins in this game.
She judged the pace of that cannon well, isn't she?
Yeah, that could have gone wrong. That was brilliantly played. And this clearance is very much on as well. Ooh. I'm going to have to rely on your stream eyes again. Have I just cursed her?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's going to have to put out a big shot here.
Yeah, that was tough.
So, I was just about to say a chance again for Amy, but it's well, she has got an opener. She's got the opener at the top left. And the layout on yellows isn't actually that bad.
She's got a route to swing around and she'll be on a choice of yellows. And I think the two that looks the most difficult are the ones on the right hand side, but they both go to the corner.
And she won't mind that yellow landing near the pocket either, because that now links up to the ball on the right hand side, which is a decent ball to leave to last to get onto the 8.
Yeah, that was a very good placement. She fires that one in.
Yeah, you can see why. She's trying to get across to the top yellow of the two on the right hand side, which then opens the path for the other one.
Yeah,
Why
deal
she
with them
kicks it
early.
out. Ooh, Amy. I didn't expect that, I must admit. She's covered the she's covered the pocket. Obviously 15-second territory now. Marion's already taken her extension. What do you do here?
Yeah, you got to think very quickly in these conditions.
Yeah.
And with the pressure as well, it's very difficult.
I don't think there's any way. Doesn't go past the yellow, does it? I mean, can you squeeze it?
I'm wondering if you can get it off of the far jaw, but
Far jaw on the back of the yellow?
I've been waiting for Marion to tell me, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just play it out. For me, though, I feel like if you're going to play a shot like that, I think you should have done it first shot. Leave the other two reds on the table.
I'm absolutely with you on that. Absolutely with you.
But then, you know, I can't fault, because at 15 seconds, sometimes you do just have to play what you see.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no time to think about it, but you're absolutely right. I mean, if she's got the presence of mind there to take that when there's 3 balls left on the table, she's got a big advantage in the frame.
And that shot was really clever by Amy as well. I think I would have just played it slow and tucked up behind, but she's purposely left the yellow over the middle, so
Yeah.
it just links up everything better. That was tough as well, with the way these cushions slide. But now that's opened up the frame completely for Amy now, and we could be looking at 5-4. 3 frames on the banks.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Just one plant, one yellow down the rail. But they all link up really nice. There's excellent positioning on the plant as well to leave everything straight, so she's always on that second yellow.
Oh, Amy.
They are tough down the rail, but I still backed her for it.
Do you know, when she first came to the table and she had ball in hand, I thought, is there any merit in potting the one to middle and trying to kick that yellow down the cushion? Because I did wonder if that could have been her undoing. I mean, I'm never an advocate for kicking balls, but on a table this tight, you know, was there some value in doing it? Marion's not happy with what she sees.
No.
She could have been so much nicer on this 8 ball. She's got a half ball cut.
Big shot this. Oh, yeah, difficult.
Wowee. Wowee, we're seeing some drama here in Blackpool. Wow. Jumps, dispatches the 8 ball, and now she's back within 1 frame. Which seat would you rather be sat in now?
Unless she's going to smash a double and let the 8 ball run the time down for her.
I think that's what you do. You just whack the 8 ball as hard as you can, get the balls moving. They'll be moving for 10 seconds, and Amy will have about 20 left on the clock.
Yeah, and she's used her extension already, so
I'd literally just punt the 8 ball into the yellows and just get everything moving.
we could see a break shot here.
Unless the double does go.
Oh, I'm just playing it safe.
Why not? Great
But I mean, the
presence
yellow
of mind.
did cut, so
It did.
I think there's enough time for these. But the white's just thin on both of them. Yeah, she's wanting the stun shots. That's a great shot. No,
Oh,
okay,
it's
just out.
I mean, that shows some brilliant clock management from Marion, though, doesn't it? Because You know, if Amy had another 10 seconds there, she was probably she's probably getting there.
Harriet Haynes finished last season in the number 2 spot, not far off being top of the rankings. Amy Beecham just pipped her to that. She's up to number 1 though in the provisional rankings. She's obviously going to go into this match as a favourite, but that's not to say she necessarily is guaranteed passage to the final.
Yeah, it's a good break there from Harriet just to get things started. The way that she gets through the break, she's quite low and then stands up as she goes through the ball. It's almost similar to that kind of Ryan Fleming break that we always note back to. Really successful, and you can see the split there. The ideal break really, Mark, isn't it, where you've got all the reds separate, all the yellows separate, and they're not kind of in the way of each other too much.
Yeah, this is ideal for a starter for Harriet. Just get underway in this match. Reds or yellows. I mean, I maybe would be drawn more to the yellows, to the reds, but feel she can drop behind the 2 yellows top right.
I wonder if she wanted to do it straight away then. I think the way that she kind of played down the table with side makes me think that she maybe tried for it, but she's also got an angle to go for it here if she wanted to, but she's got to play a couple of really good positional shots just to get into that position to land behind the 2. That's perfect. She's aimed to hit that red, so all she's got to do is drop this in and she'll have the natural angle to come in behind those 2.
She's always been a very good attacking player. I think her game has come on a fair bit, even in the last couple of seasons, playing on the main pro tour last year as well as in this ladies pro series. Overdone that though.
Yeah, she was just a bit straight, and it was hard to judge that. You had to really kind of kill it to the cushion to be able to land perfect on the yellow. I think she's got it though. Oh, that's a great shot.
And that red over the pocket was really useful there, because guaranteed in off. Just use the red to stop the cue ball. Not an easy shot though. That was never guaranteed.
Do you know what? I've loved having the RAS on tables this weekend, but one thing I have noticed that's catching a few people out actually is the cueing from the corner pockets. Obviously before, when we were using the other style tables, they had kind of a bit more of a raise and a bend on them, which meant that you were kind of more cueing down on those kind of shots. And I think it's catching some people out that now they can actually cue flat. It doesn't feel natural to them, and because of that, you see them hit the shot a bit thicker because they're almost playing it with topspin rather than kind of digging down. And it's just a small little taker that I've seen from this weekend, and it's an exact example there as to why Harriet's missed it on the thick side, but Leanne's missed one there. And I know Harriet loves a double. Double H on the back of the shirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's your nickname, you've got to be good at a double. Not a bad position to play it from either. Wow,
Wow.
Found the cut. Didn't look like she could quite see the potting angle, but that suits her even better. So, took 2 attempts at the 8 ball, but gets there at the second time of asking. God,
Yeah,
that was close, wasn't it?
I would have played it every time, Mark. This is what I mean. You've got all the great women's players, and then you've got players that are up and coming through that we haven't even spoken about yet. You know, Lucy Smith and Megan Proctor being right up there. Kirsty Lee Davis, another one as well, that I think goes under the radar a little bit for how talented all 3 of them are. And once again, that break's working for Harriet again. The splits, not quite as nice on this one, but she has got a good kind of spread of the table that she can make her decision.
This match being played as a best of 13, so race to 7. 50 minutes on the match clock. Generally in these women's series matches, the match clock is proving a fairly significant factor. Saw in the last match, Marion Jude was very happy when the clock got down to 0, because it looked like Amy Beecham might have been about to complete a comeback. Seems unlikely that we're going to get to the winning post unless it gets very one-sided, given that we've had almost half of the match time and only 4 frames played so far.
Yeah, they haven't been clean frames so far, but they have been good standard. I think Harriet's just been a little bit lucky there, because I think Leanne would prefer to go yellows, but she's not got an opener. So she's going to have to go red. She's missed the ball. She'll want that to run on a bit. It's not great. This is a good open opportunity now for Harriet.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying missing the first ball when it's an open table.
Yeah, she just wasn't fully decided with Leanne there.
I think that yellow does still go to the bottom left. Almost knocked the red in front of it. Could just decide to leave the ball on the right cushion until last, because it will afford fairly natural position onto the 8 ball.
Yeah, you wanna be able to pot that ball with no pressure to kind of do anything with the cue ball, because the moment you have to, that's when it makes it missable. She's in a really good position here to kind of set herself up for it. So yeah, I don't really see any reason why she would need to take a different route. I mean, what? I don't get that shot. She could have just screwed to the cushion, left herself near straight on the yellow. If she's a little bit low, she can play off the top cushion with the next one. Yeah, she's giving herself issues here.
Yeah, I can't understand why you'd consider playing around the table. She must have thought she had more angle, but it didn't look like she could just hold for the ball without having to play off multiple cushions like that.
The thing is with Harriet does love to cue a ball. You know, we've seen it in the frame before when she went on a clearance, you know. The white ball has a lot of movement in it. It comes off a lot of cushions. Sometimes I think she gets a little bit too kind of engrossed in that, and that's why she makes mistakes like this.
Yeah, she's obviously going to be feeling the pressure. She's had chances to go further ahead. Now it's 2-all. The fact the time is running down is going to shorten the match as well. From Harriet's perspective, the longer the match, probably the more likely she is to win. It's usually the higher ranked player that would want the longest possible match. Leanne's played a different style. She's kept it much simpler. While Harriet's been zipping around the table, Leanne's just played a very sensible, measured style. She's gone for the balls, but hasn't over-elaborated.
Yeah, you see the way she's cueing. It's very simple. She hasn't got a long swing back. She's just kind of pressing through the ball, doing what she needs to do to cue the ball, but keeping it very simplistic, because that's all she needs to do. You know, the chances that she's been presented by Harriet, in all fairness, have been from Harriet Haynes' mistakes. It's not really, you know, she's obviously Leanne's played a couple of safeties here and there, but she's not had to kind of go out of her way or play a different game style to earn her frames. Although this one's not the best. She's come quite straight.
Yeah, you don't really want to force these. Yeah, I think that's the right thing. I mean, well, that's the right thing. I think there might have been a case for trying to roll through a bit further. Not really sure what pocket she's got in mind or what she'd played for originally.
I think she wanted to push through and play it into the right middle and didn't quite do it.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed like the only comfortable shot you could leave yourself from the position she was in.
That was a tough shot she just took on. Into the top left-hand corner. I think she was trying to play it with an element of safety with the white, but she was never really going to be able to hide it. Yeah, that's a good pot from Harriet. She's going to need a good one here, though. Just good positional shot. It's up to her if she wants to come all the way back to the middle or just play it into the top left. Whoa, she did try to come back on it and she's missed it. Big error.
Yeah, that's an unexpected miss, isn't it? Just hit it a bit hard, I think, in the end. I mean, I can see she was trying to get back, but I think she could probably have got that work on it without quite as much pace. Great chance this for Leanne to go 3-2 up.
Oh, she's not got through it, though. That's a bit of a poor one. she's still okay. She can cut this into the middle pocket. It's just she's got to be a little bit careful if she doesn't pot the 8 in the right middle, actually, with the angle. Be a bit wary of that. She's played it at a very good pace, though. She doesn't want that white in the middle pocket. Great shot.
Yeah, that is a good shot. That right middle pocket was playing very big for that shot.
It's even worse, Mark, when you're watching it. It just slowly rolls towards it, just teasing you a little bit. But great frame again from Leanne.
So nothing other than an extremely quick break and clearance does Leanne get Craig any good here.
Mind you, a break like that helps.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot for it.
Do you know what? She was a little bit unlucky that a few kicked each other out then, because she actually would have had a really dolly lineup if the yellows hadn't got in the way of the top left-hand corner. But yeah, she's going to have to fly here. Needs that to slow up. Yeah, it's not bad. She can just drop this in. Oh, is it going to drop? It is. It's not ideal. She's going to have to somehow pot this and probably screw back to the top cushion. Not really seen Leanne play a screw back shot yet. She's a bit unlucky because she cued it really well.
Yeah, I was going to say, although that looks a bad shot from where she's ended up, she actually wasn't far. She just misses that yellow. That's perfect.
She's looking at 2 cushions, but I play the jewels here. I really would. You know, the jewels have played big all weekend. Maybe she would be able to play that shot. It's a great effort, but not to be.
Not to be, and that is the match assuredly done now. 3 minutes for Harriet to try and get a last clearance in.
Yeah, Harriet wants 7, you can see it. You know, people may see it as a bit disrespectful, and it's not that whatsoever. You know, Harriet is just a fierce athlete, and she wants to, when she wins, she wants to be able to maximise it as much as possible. You know, pool is a really good feel-good sport, and there is a big difference between winning 5-3 and winning 7-3. You know, at that point, you feel like you've won a bit more emphatically. You feel a bit more in the flow. And I mean, Harriet has been in the flow for the last 2-3 frames. Slightly underhit that one. Thought she might have tried to come down and land on the one to the middle pocket then, but no issues. That's a great shot. Little double kiss off the 8. And it's going to be this 8 ball for the match. And it's fair to say that Leanne has done herself proud out here. She's played really well, but unfortunately that kind of curse of Harriet Haynes for a lot of players has really kicked into gear in the last 10 minutes, and the 15-second shot clock has really changed this game, Mark.
Yeah, you felt that Leanne probably needed to come into the last 10 minutes of the match with a lead. She came in behind and she never recovered from there.
Tony was on time, which was nice.
I thought you were about to say, which was rare. That's what I'm always here.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think they must have got lost somewhere around the reception area.
Yeah, it's actually quite a long way from the lobby to the main playing arena. It's at least 20 yards. But they are finally here, and we are finally ready to go. Sean Chipperfield has the first opportunity. Tom Cousins has been there many, many times, as has Sean Chipperfield, but from Tom Cousins' perspective, he's been there and he has taken down the titles on repeat. 10 titles now with Ultimate Pool. Sean Storry will be up in our second semi. Sean Chipperfield has been in the semi-finals on repeat, but yet to make that big major breakthrough. Is now the time. It's a familiar foe in him in the semi here.
To be fair, there are a lot of Seans on the Pro Tour. Sean Sharkey.
Yeah, there is a few.
Should we play how many Seans do we know that play pool?
Probably 3. Probably the 3 we've named.
Sean O'Shaughnessy?
He's not on the tour.
No, he's not
on the tour.
Hello, he's not going to get there.
Oh dear. Oh, we can't believe it.
Somebody should have spent an extra hour in the gym this morning.
Yeah, that's a poor one. The frame was over. I mean, I was getting a little bit light-hearted because I was kind of thinking, well, the frame is done, and what a moment. And I have to say, I know it's very early. It's frame 1 in this match, but Sean has been there before in the semis and struggled to make it through to the final. I mean, he's been in a huge number now, and it's been Tom Cousins in the final a couple of times as well. And for whatever reason, there seems to be a mental block for Sean in the semi-finals, and I just wonder if losing this opening frame in the manner of losing this opening frame will do more damage than just one frame.
Why so soft? I mean, you could have...
Yeah, there didn't seem... I guess he was holding to leave the angle he wanted, but if you couldn't hold, then you can play for the higher angle, and I know that means you're not going to get right behind the 8-ball as easily, but it was just a really strange error.
That can happen when you play at the speed that Sean Chipperfield does play at.
Well, that one's gone wrong for Tom, but...
Long yellow.
He has a backup plan.
To be fair, when you made that remark there about having a mental block or not a good record against Tom, who does have a good record against Tom?
Declan Brennan's got a fabulous record
Has
against
he?
Tom Cousins.
Right.
Yeah, fabulous record. But you are right. I don't think it's a mental block against Tom. I just think that Sean has an issue with... Look, the data tells us he's having an issue with semi-finals.
Right, okay.
It's not been... he's had... His record of converting semi-finals into finals is very poor.
Okay.
And he certainly has then, when he has got through, which I think is 2 times now, he's not been able to then go on and kick on and win the tournament as well. And this is a former world champion and a player that plays at such an elite level that now in 4 years of play, a guy that's been there or thereabouts in the top 10 of the rankings pretty much all the way through that 4 years has yet to win a title. It's quite surprising.
Yeah.
For my money, as we see Tom take this opening frame, for my money, it is the most surprising, as Sean leaves the arena, it's the most surprising thing in terms of if you listed out all the players, which players would have won, wouldn't have won. He's the one that stands out the most to me. It'd take him better part of a year to win his first, so essentially it's 10 so far in about 18 months, which is pretty incredible. And I'm not including the WPF World Masters that he won earlier this year in that either.
Well, he certainly abandoned that cut break he started off with. He does change from here to there. He's got such a booming front ball break. He's got a nice split here. Looking at the yellows, the only place he's got to get, the 3 at the top are gone. He's just got to get the cue ball past the middle on the left-hand side onto that yellow into the bottom right-hand corner, and that's the end of that frame. That's his only positional shot, really, because he blocks out of there. The other yellow goes in the middle, and he can choose where he wants to put the black.
Not guaranteed to get that angle, though. There's a little bit of jeopardy on the first couple of shots here.
Plays the next one in. Well, I think he tried to get on there to play it in the middle next, and then leave that angle to come down off the ball at the top.
Yeah.
So he's come a bit too far now. That makes it interesting.
It does.
As you can see, he's pulled a little bit of a face there. But yeah, that was his natural thing. Is just to leave the cue ball towards the top rail, not thin, but just if he could have punched it down past that middle bag, it'd have been perfect. But he's now having to reroute. This wasn't the plan, that's for sure. Little double kiss off that red, and he's the wrong side.
The big problem continues here. How do you get on the next ball?
Now this is the thing. You can't play any little cross doubles because that red's in the way, which would have been one avenue. So we're looking at a thin cut into the bottom corner with a load of right-hand side. I don't know if with a new cloth like this you could generate enough. He might have to just go in the middle and...
Well, he's on a ball. That's all he could hope for. Now he's got a pot and he's going to use the red to hold the cue ball.
Yeah, if he can hit this slight bit to right-hand side, cut this yellow into the bottom right-hand corner, cue ball off the bottom rail and just bump into that red that's near the back, but it has to bump into it, as obviously coming off the bottom rail, and he will hold for that yellow into the centre. But this is right up there off the top shelf, this one. Made the pot.
Gets the cue ball. Floated it in like it was nothing.
Yeah, that's a bit naughty, that. That's one of those when you see your opponent falling out of position, thinking, when you're sat in the chair, you're thinking, I'm going to get another go at these, and then he does that. A lot of players have been missing those sort of pots this last few days, but not Cousins.
Oh, he misses that one though.
But yeah.
Wow.
And he missed it by a fair old distance, hitting both jaws there.
It just landed a touch on the straight side. And he couldn't just drop it in or roll it through because he was going nowhere. So just tried to pinch it every so slightly and bring it back either right centre or top right corner. That means that Sean Chipperfield gets to the table and he should win this frame.
Just opted for a safety hit. Now does he try and play a swerve shot? Depending on how much he can get around there. No, he's coming off the top rail.
Oh, he's made it. He's made it. He's made it.
Oh.
Would you believe it? Would you believe it? He snookered, but
Chippy's owed one though.
Yeah.
From his semi-final.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But then he snooked himself again. So
yeah.
Good news, bad news.
Yeah, he had a spicy one at 4-4 in the quarterfinals, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sean.
Obscene is a fairly decent description, I think. Couldn't do it again, could he? Well, he's hit it. I'll tell you what, no,
it's
he
close.
hasn't.
It's close. It's
No.
close. It's close. Oh, wow. How?
Does he feel he's been robbed?
So unlucky.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my word. I mean, that is torture if your name's Sean Chipperfield, but in the end, it all works out well. And I think, actually, it wouldn't have been too bad for Sean. It was right down the line that he was looking at that. He would have known quite early that that 8 ball wasn't going in. A bit of a moment for him, and has he landed a bit straight here? He wanted to be able to get across the one on the cushion. I'm not sure if he can.
Well, I'd like to take the one he's nearest to and try and cut that one and then send a cue ball into the one on the rail. He did have the angle there. He's playing a double. Has a big bag, so as long as he doesn't go completely wide here and not the black in.
Right
Straight
in the heart.
I suggest he comes straight out for this one and has a red in the same pocket as the black. But no, opting for the longer red. In it goes.
Well, 2-2. 15 minutes played, or thereabouts. And it was a big error from Sean Chipperfield in the opening frame.
You know, Sean has been pretty good value here. He's been very, very good.
And he's broke well. The cue ball's been a little bit wild on the break, or once it was wild, once it got kicked towards it. But his break has been really good, and that's normally a big storyline for Sean. His break can go wandering, and he can lose that cue ball to centre pockets when that shows that he can be off by a long way. But so far, throughout the tournament, he's been very good with the break.
I agree, because I do recall quite a few games that I've now commentated on Sean Chipperfield. And when he has gone down, the Swanee, it's been largely due to a misfiring break. You know, I always have this vivid picture of him breaking dry and trudging back to his seat, looking deflated, and somebody mopping up a nice big easy finish that he's presented for them just by having a very good split with nothing going in.
Yeah, and he's chopped and changed a lot, hasn't he? Hand on the table and hand off the table, loop bridge, all that. He's tried it all and trying to find it something, but for me, he just loses shape trying to hit it a little bit too hard at times. That's not come out.
Such a watchable player, though.
Big problem to solve. There's not really a good ball to play the breakout here.
No, he's got plenty to do. Has Sean. So he wants this little angle into the middle. Come off the side rail and just kick this yellow away from the red.
Don't think he's far enough down the table. I think he could have done with being the other side of the break line. And then that shot's on, isn't it? One cushion, catch the yellow.
He's going with the power.
Yeah, brilliant. Had to really force it. That was excellent.
Yeah. The middles take them now with such force. As you see the pocket gobble up that red. Had a good cue ball as well, did Sean. And he has a little angle to come down. Slightly hampered, but it shouldn't cause too much of a problem, he says. As
Played big that ball though. He wanted to slide by it and would have given him a choice of both balls, but now he's going to have to pull out a big shot. Probably can cut the one he's nearest to back to bottom right, but cue ball's going nowhere. It's a horrible pot.
Plant? Does it go?
Well, it'd be a big plant, wouldn't it? It'd be huge.
It did go.
Yeah, some effort, but
I was going to say, because he could have given it a little bit more that way.
Okay, so a second error in the match then for Sean Chipperfield. That was for 5-2 as well.
Yeah, be annoyed with that one. After playing such a good shot into the middle pocket as well and developing that red at the top. You know, you think that's the key shot that's opened up the frame. It's unlocked the chance. And then to pretty much throw the table back to your opponent within the next shot.
Big visit for Tom then. Get this one on.
This is a drill you set with the 2 yellows on the 2 rails and the one at the top. It's one of those, like, you know, can you knock this finish in from here? And
yeah, you got one over a pocket and one in the open to connect up 3 on cushions. A lot more jeopardy on this finish than there has been through the first 3.5 years with Ultimate Pool. This is a much tougher challenge.
Yeah, Tom rightly calling his extension. Wants to work this out because this is going to need some precision positioning for Top Cat. Well, he's gone to move it, and move it he has. But where's he landed? He looks a bit disappointed that he's not landed on the ball. I think he expected to land on that, because he's played it so well and he's caught it flush. And it's gone slightly to the right, so he can't cut it in there. That's too thin.
It just shows you Tom's thoughts, though, and the fact that he felt he had to move that ball rather than playing on it.
Absolutely. Wouldn't be too bad if that yellow wasn't in the way of a double, but having to play this thin cut along the top rail. Oh, that's a super pot. That really is a super shot from Tom.
Still needs another. You feel he's going to have to take this one on the cushion on.
Well, you want to play it now because that red's still top. I mean, does it go past the yellow at the top? It may well do.
I don't think so, and I think that's why he had a bit of freedom in the shot he just played.
Should not be playing the one on the rail now. Maybe he's playing for the double.
He is?
He is playing for the double. That tells you another story about these balls up and down the rails. Tom doesn't like them. Not at all.
He said that on commentary before, or on interview before rather, and that he doesn't like them, and that's on the previous pockets. Now we got them tighter.
Really doesn't like them.
But if I always thought if he says he doesn't like them, what chance has the rest of us got?
Got to be careful with the cue ball here, because this could run onto the top rail, which would be an absolute nightmare. He's played it well by making sure he didn't get on the top rail. He's played it, for me, a little bit heavy, but he's okay. It's a bit thinner than he'd liked.
Oh, it's very thin.
The cue ball is going to hit that red, so there's a lot to think about here for Tom Cousins. Got to watch you don't get snookered beyond the other red.
He'll take it. He'll take it. That's an excellent shot.
Yeah. He actually got rid of the other one out of the way. He thought, well, I know I'm hitting into red, so I might as well smack into it and get it completely out of the way.
Ends up being a very good counter. Sean Chipperfield may well have had thoughts of getting back to the table during that one, and then it would be, maybe the floodgates could open. But he's got to get to the final first. And, well, it's never easy, is it? It's never easy. Try break means Tom Cousins comes back.
But going back to what you're saying there, a player like Sean Chipperfield, who thrives on confidence and fast-flowing pull, and when everything is going right, and you find that groove, it's almost as if you feel you can't miss. Everything you're going to touch is going to turn to gold. But then you get a dry break, you'll come and put the brakes on you.
Oh,
that's come out.
How hard did he hit that?
Very hard.
It's the first one I've seen all week, but it was absolutely hammered in at short range. Yeah,
Well,
that's big. That's big. What damage? Well, every ball goes here.
Decent call.
Every ball is not easy. Certainly not easy when it's for the match, but this can be picked apart.
Sean Chipperfield rightly using his extensions just to look at these, because they're certainly not a run-of-the-mill finish. I think he miscued there.
Slightly poor angle on this one now.
The ball just didn't look like it made natural contact then.
Yeah, the first one being slightly off. Now this one's slightly off. Tried to force an angle that wasn't quite there. Now he's thin. And the damage is done. 8 ball. Now blocks the red.
Pre for Cousins.
And that's all to do with the first shot.
Yep.
Say whether it was a little miscue or whether it's just a short of pace. Either way, it left him a bad angle that 2 shots later has snowballed into a major problem. Could he screw straight back now? No. I was wondering if he could screw straight back now into the yellow and take it to the bottom corner. Decided he can't. Still some hope here for Tom Cousins.
If he just wasn't so far at the table on the rail, if he had another ball's width this way, he could probably cut that and bring it into that direction.
Oh, fabulous. And he's got the perfect angle, I think, to be able to play short position.
Massive shot that.
That was huge. Yeah, he's definitely got... he could have done with half a turn more. He can force it though, I think. But if he's 1 ball higher, it's more of a controllable shot. The more you have to force it, the harder it gets.
Oh, is he on it in the middle? That's obscene.
Yeah.
That is absolutely obscene.
That's
What a positional shot that is.
Oh, this has been brilliant from Sean Chipperfield.
This
What
is
a moment
hot
for
stuff.
him. Fabulous finish. Gave himself all the work, all the problems in the world, and just comes up with a moment of magic. Sean Chipperfield defeats the #1 player. Tom Cousins walks away from this weekend without silverware, and he'll be back, but so will Sean Chipperfield. This was special. Gave himself a lovely angle and then plays a beautiful short position. And if he keeps playing like that, Sean Chipperfield's going to be a major handful in the final.
Runner-up in the Champions League a couple of years back. Dearly love to do it on this stage. The Pro Series is the real gold standard for the players. And it is Aaron Davis to get us underway in frame 1. As Tony Holgate steps in alongside me.
Good evening, sir. How are we?
We are very good. We've seen a lot of pool already. We've got 3 more matches to come.
Sledgehammer of a break.
Aaron's looked pretty good this weekend. Guess that's stating the obvious, given that he finds himself in the semi-final.
Nick Finn's tip, or one of the 84 of them that we've had over the past 4 days.
It's genuinely pretty hard to pick a winner in this field. Craig Wardingham, of course, the winner of the first event of the weekend. Managed to win his first match in the second event, but then fell at the last 32 stage.
Well, the prize that awaits the winner of this is a date with Sean Chipperfield after an incredible win he had against Tom Cousins. The last few frames were, I will say, the positional shot to get on his last red to win the match was breathtaking. such a good shot in a very small space that he could land in. And that got him into the final, where he'll play obviously either Sean Storry or Aaron Davis. But Aaron looks to be starting things off very well indeed.
Seems to be back to the form that he was in a couple of years ago, where it just never looked like he'd ever miss a ball. Played in the Pairs Cup a couple of weeks ago with his brother Ryan. He's a very good snooker player and appeared to be a pretty good pool player, judging by that showing, as they won their group and have qualified for the last 16.
I'd like to come off the rail with the cue ball a bit further than that, but should be fine. That yellow ball over the other side will just hold the cue ball for him.
Exactly the start that Aaron was looking for. Sean Storry, as we touched on in commentary earlier on, has been doing things the hard way this weekend.
Bring an abacus.
Important to keep on top of these details.
I know. How many frames did Sean have yellows?
Well, I'm not sure it is important to keep on top of these details, if I'm honest, but gives us something to talk about when we're in the commentary box.
And Mark does like to crunch his numbers. You like your stats, sir. That's why we never question you whenever you come out with one of these statements.
I'm going to throw in some untrue statements.
Gold.
You can decide which ones to call me out on.
Well, the autopilot at the moment is struggling to take off.
Yeah, the only stat that matters for the players is whether they win their matches and whether they continue in this tournament. I think Sean isn't a player that minds particularly when he goes behind. We've talked obviously about those comebacks already in this event, but generally through his career, he's quite tenacious, ahead or behind, battles for every frame. I don't know if he'll necessarily be unhappy at the first semi-final result. He knows both of the players, Sean Chipperfield and Tom Cousins, well, but it was Tom Cousins that beat him the last time he got to a Pro Series final. And I wouldn't exactly say acrimonious, but it didn't seem quite as harmonious, that final, as maybe you'd have expected between those guys. Perhaps if he does get through to that final, he'll be happy to have a different opponent for this one.
Well, you can cut that into the corner, but I'll tell you what, you've got to be careful with that black ball.
This is the key shot, really, getting things open at the top of the table.
Have to go for the yellow at the top.
It's a decent shot he played to get up there. Wasn't quite a natural angle, had to kind of force the cue ball up. If you just get a gentle nudge there, that's nice. Ideally from here, he'd want to be dead straight on the ball top right. I think he may be just a hair off angle, but perhaps can just make it. Can either roll it through and take the ball to the centre, or screw back and take the ball that's next to his hand to the top left corner.
Yeah, it's probably the correct route now, because we'd like to get the cue ball back to where it is now for the black. Yeah,
which would have been easier if he wasn't keying over this red. If he gets his hand on the table, this would be trivial, but got to give it a bit more attention now. Not too difficult a shot, at least. The pot itself he's not having to focus too much on, so he can just think about the cue ball. Played that well. So it looks like autopilot is getting his bearings. Taking his time even for that 8 ball, but understandably so, because it's an important frame to get on the board. Yeah, he's been hitting the break quite hard already. Yeah,
Well, he's hit them well. Has he got a ball yellow up to the top, is it?
Oh, how has
It's
that ball
hung.
stayed on the table?
Now then.
I feel like 5 minutes ago that would have dropped, but suddenly there's a comeback in the air.
These are very open now.
It's never a nice position to be in when you've got a big lead and people come back at you. He's not remotely in a position he's going to be worried about it yet. He's still got a very comfortable lead. He'd be delighted to be 6-2 up, but nonetheless, you do start wanting to close the match out. You just don't want things to drift on for too long. What a competitor Sean Storry can be. Still a strong second favourite for this match, but you feel like you can't quite write him off yet.
So I did notice earlier when I walked into the comms right at the start, Marion Jude was actually sat in the crowd watching this match. And so I know she's in her pool gear, and I'm thinking, she's going to watch the entirety of this, you know, just before you play your final. I don't know if she's toddled off and just to get away from the table, which I would advise, you know, to sit there and watch an entire semi-final and then come out and play yours is final for her, obviously.
Yeah, she's someone that enjoys watching. You do quite often see her in the crowd.
Yeah,
a very positive attitude towards the game.
Maybe she's one of them, just loves the pool. I know she does love the pool, but you know, for me, if I've got a big final to play, I'm away to my room and I'll just come down when I know it's just time to be there. But then each their own, I suppose, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I mean, it is very individual. People thrive on different things. Meanwhile,
I'm sure she'll be knocking about now anyway, knowing that this is near its conclusion. And so will, obviously, Marion's opponent. Anyway. Might be here a while, yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, there was a moment
certainly,
when it looked
certainly
like
at least quarter of an
imminent.
hour if Sean Storry keeps winning frames. I think he's going to put this one to bed. This will be 6-3.
Starts asking the question if he can get it to that scoreline.
And himself to break as well next.
Another good shot.
Lovely, perfect.
Well, this has been good. This has been good from both players. It wasn't like Aaron's thrown this away. He made a great clearance, got the 8 ball as close to the pocket as he could in the previous frame.
There's a man here that can't quite get over the line. How's the break going to be? Well, it's a thumping break. And it's a dry break. My word.
Well, we
I think
described
Red's-
Sean as being the comeback king, and isn't he proving that to be the case?
If that red slides past those 3 yellows at the top, he's got game on.
Well, if he can somehow find himself out of this position, it's going to feel like this tournament's got his name on it. He's got a problem though with that red at the top of the table. Just desperately hoping there might be a gap behind the yellow, but that looks ambitious. Is the space to just sneak through? Well, not to pot it, but to get close.
So what if Aaron could play the loss of turn shot there and stuff him behind all those yellows, but is there any way he could just feather off that yellow? Well, maybe what about hit this yellow and screw the cue ball back into the rail and then off that yellow and then try and collide with the red and knock in, because it would be a good shot if he could get it. Has options. one option is maybe if you could pot the yellow into the middle, come back a bit further where the cue ball is now and play this yellow into the corner and crash into those ones at the top. Well, he's opted for a bit of safety there, or tactical play, by putting the 8 ball in amongst that cluster, and that's got a tap on the table from Sean Storry, so he liked it. Well, I wouldn't think he would like it that much. But
I don't think he liked it.
He liked it as a clever shot to play, but
he respected it as a shot.
He wishes it wasn't against him. Right, well, we're going to see that. Right, red into yeah, the red's going into the bottom rail, I think, here, into that yellow, and try and shunt along the cushion, and this is going at pace.
How's that not gone in?
You heard him say, he said, how's that not gone in?
You almost flicked a ball at the bottom of the table as well.
I was going to say, your guess is as good as mine, Sean.
Well, everything but going in. A couple of reds had a pretty good go. So now, what's Aaron got? He's got to be feeling a bit of pressure now.
Well,
he always
yeah.
looks pretty immune to it, but having been 6-1 up, this is starting to get a bit
Chance
nervous.
number 48.
Yeah, the first one wasn't really much of a mistake from him at all, but now that last frame was very painful.
He's still got work to do. That yellow at the bottom of the tables, I know he's got the yellow that's near the middle. That's his connecting ball, but he's got to get on it right.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, if you get too greedy, you risk snookering yourself, and if not, you risk leaving a difficult shot.
Could end up stuck to it or anything. Ideally, you want to be sort of left of blue spot, just above it, so you can just play it plain ball and roll down. You don't want to be having to play too much side or anything on it. You want it as plain and simple as you possibly can. Yeah, I'm in the
natural.
I'd like it slightly thinner, but it's okay. It's gettable. Well, he'll settle for that. He's not got a lot of choice, but just as long as he doesn't, as he pots this, come half ball into that red that's the top of the 2, and then end up sticking down there. Like that. I'm seeing in left, right and centre.
This match is crazy. What are we seeing? Can he make this off the right hand side cushion?
Well, again, this is for a place in the final if he gets it. In the corner. Oh, he stuck it in front of the red. Short up. Wow. It'll still go because there is enough room for it to go off the cushion, off the black ball and in. There you see.
And he's playing it now. He's going to play it on 1 second and it's in.
He's got it.
Oh, where's the black going now?
Oh, no. You heard Sean say, he said, oh, come on.
Oh, this match is crazy.
I think he can get it. He can. He can pinch this with a bit of side. Well, he's going to have a chance, you know. Gets these in, there's going to be time. There will be time. We could end up going to 6 red, you know.
This is going to be one of the all-time great comebacks if he makes it.
I'll tell you what, Aaron, how are you feeling if you're Aaron?
Well, he doesn't look any different, but I assume inside he's not feeling quite as good as he did a few frames ago. Sean's got a shot to play here. It's not quite perfect.
He's played that very well indeed. That's perfect.
Incredible piece of cueing under the circumstances. Wow, Sean Storry. We said he liked to come back, doesn't he just?
This match could have been dead 15 minutes ago nearly. Frame 12. Ball. Stop the keyboard. Dead. It's made a ball. Where's that red going? Oh. Aaron will be thankful for that. That's just saved him for the time being anyway.
If that red ends up in the middle of the table, this is 6-all, but this is tricky from where he is. And time has started to become a problem because he's going to have to play a shot. Aaron's then got a chance to get this into a bit of a safety game, and then that clock's going to be running down.
Yeah, it's now a factor. We're under 2 minutes. He's had to go. That has just maybe, just maybe, saved Aaron Davis's match.
I think he's going to end up in a 6 red at worst now. He hasn't got time to lose 2 frames, but if he doesn't win the frame clean here, he's going to leave some time. He's going to need to pot at least a few balls.
Yeah, he's right. So what's loose? 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 of these are completely loose. You can. So if you take, let's say, 13 seconds a shot, that's 78 seconds. Is that a guess? That's right, isn't it? Well, you're the man with all the numbers. You know, it's like sat next to Rachel Riley here. But in fact, that red goes up there, so they're all clean. So I think, oh, he would have liked to go a little bit further. It's okay, but now he's pushing into the other red.
It should be okay now.
But I don't think there's enough time for Sean Storry to be able to pot all those yellows and the black anyway. So I think by the skin of his teeth, Aaron Davies is going to sneak into the final. And just look at him now. You can see there's a bit of emotion there now, I'm telling you. He's thinking, oh, thank God.
Yes, the primary emotion is definitely relief.
Yeah.
And he's done it now.
Yeah.
He's not going to clear up, but it doesn't matter. There's not enough time for a counter clearance. And that's only the position of the ball off that break. If that finishes in a different spot, we could so easily have ended up at 6 all. Well, slipped out of position, but goes round to offer his hand. What a crazy, crazy match that was. Aaron Davies had a chance to win 7-1. At the time, it would have been a straightforward and well-deserved victory. He said Sean Storry loved to come back.
More and more, the more that we all do it, the quicker the matches will get, the quicker the frames will get.
Yeah, 100%. And we were saying yesterday that the quality of the women's series as a whole has improved, but certainly the quality of the arena play used to be when we first had the finals out in the arena. It looked very unfamiliar to a lot of the participants, whereas now everybody seems to be settling down much quicker.
Yeah. Yellow balls in play. And that's great because it's showcasing what the women can do. You know, we are obviously behind the men because of the, you know, there's been less for us, but the fact that we are getting the exposure is great, and as you say, the standards showing as a result, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great advert for the Women's Pro Series as a whole. Well, that's not the best shot. Trying to get much higher up on the left-hand side of the table. Does love to go for a double.
And this is something we do sometimes see with Harriet, where she tries to force it a little too much, the pace, before she fully gets into that flow. When she is flowing, she can absolutely play at that pace and still be, you know, knocking finishes in. But I think sometimes when she's a little colder, she's had a bit of a gap, hasn't she, since she last played a match. So I think sometimes she tries to force it too much, and that is when you can benefit. Couldn't get me worms out there, Mark.
Also, of course, there are now more capable players of beating her. I think there was a time where she held quite a big advantage over quite a lot of the field and could kind of bully people into submission with very powerful attacking play.
Yeah.
And the likes of Marion on the tour, who are just so clinical, you can't afford to take too many liberties. We've seen Marion out in this arena quite a lot now. Generally, she's looked really good, and there's been some phenomenal performances. There have been 1 or 2 edgy ones. I think the time she's generally looked edgier when she's had to roll balls. She's just very good. When she can put a full stroke on something and cue it in, she very rarely misses.
I felt she looked a little edgy against Amy. I don't know what you thought. I thought it was a bit of a nerve while she got over the line. I felt it was a bit of a nervy performance.
Yeah, I think she was quite relieved to get over the line.
Yeah.
The clock kind of rescued her in the end. I mean, understandably, I think because she played so well in that world title a year and a bit ago, I think we all had such sort of almost unrealistically high expectations that she wouldn't feel any pressure. But I mean, she's obviously very young as well.
I think she's also very busy as well, and I think she studies and works, and you know, so life can take over sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, her demeanour around the place, you wouldn't say she was as young as she is. She's got a very mature attitude towards the game, and always a very respectful, polite attitude around the venue.
She's good fun as well. When you get chatting to her, she's a great character.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that she's popular. I mean, I think the ladies' game as a whole, there's a bit more camaraderie, isn't there? I mean, there is with the guys, but sometimes there can be a bit of bravado as well.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, would have loved to have gone further, but you know, it's a journey, isn't it? And I'll just keep pushing and trying to improve all the time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of positives to take out of a quarter-final in a field as tough as this.
Definitely, yeah.
So we see Harriet throwing everything at that. You can sense a bit of frustration as she struck that break. This is where Marion's a tough opponent, because she's very relentless when she gets going. She does it in a kind of understated way. She always just seems to be in good control of what's going on, but the balls just disappear one after another.
We've not really had much chance to talk about Harriet, have we? Because Marion's dominated this table time, hasn't she?
Yeah, which is unusual. Normally in matches involving Harriet, you do see a fair bit of her at the table. Obviously on this occasion, the dry break, not really much she could do about it. That can be the way matches go, though. You feel like you haven't seen one player for a while. Usually it does swing one way and then the other. In a semi-final, Marion had a decent lead against Amy, and then Amy did come back a bit at the end. Hoping that she can just run off far enough in the sunset that there's not too much of a risk of a comeback. It's an incredible comeback, of course, in the match on this main table before the Pro Series semi-final between Sean Storry and Aaron Davies. Felt like Aaron was going to win 7-1, and then Sean launched an unbelievable comeback.
It's funny you should mention 7-1. I'm just looking at the scores that Harriet's had in this event. The first two matches were 7-1 and 7-1 wins. You know, so quite convincing, really. Close match against Emma in the quarters.
Yeah, I think it was that quarter-final was the key match, wasn't it? She was tied with Emma at one stage and just fell through in the end. Two of the biggest names of the ladies' game. Meanwhile, this has been absolutely textbook from Marion.
Yeah.
Just pinpoint position the whole way through.
I don't think she's overly happy with that. I think she's just a roll or two higher than she wanted to be. Well, I think she's still okay.
Yeah, looks quite good. I agree. She doesn't look delighted, but it does look quite a positive angle she's got. Anyway, she's made it past the yellow, which was the key thing.
She's just got a bit of a stretch here with that yellow being on the rail by the bottom right cushion. But she's okay.
Just taking a moment to resettle herself. Playing with a 30-second shot clock for the first portion of the match, so plenty of time. Where's this cue ball going?
That middle pocket plays
Oh,
big.
good lord. Good lord. How has she found the middle pocket? Another great break. Another good layout, and the balls are here. She's potted 3 yellows. It's in her hands now.
And it's not just the fact that she's potted 3 balls, the split, the separation between the colour sets is incredible. I'd be very surprised if this wasn't 8-2.
Only 10 minutes remaining, which in a sense takes the pressure off for Marion, because this existing 5-frame lead is quite big. She'd love to get it done here and now, though. She just wants to get this match 1-8-2. She doesn't want to be getting drawn into anything silly at the end.
I still think if anyone is capable of making a comeback in this time frame, it's Harriet.
For sure, and Marion will be acutely aware of that
She'll
fact.
be very aware of that. Yeah, she'll be very aware. Bit of a sensory thing that's different about these tables, Mark. When you lean over, they feel a little harder. So with the Supreme cushion casing before the cushions, a bit more rounded, a bit more comfortable than these. What I will say, if you're stretching over, you can catch yourself a little, catch your hip or whatever.
It used to be the case with that old arena table because the legs were slightly wider than Supreme winners. People were constantly catching the legs as they walked around the table.
Yeah, I found it really difficult to reach over on that. I felt with it being so bulky, whereas with this, it's not quite. It does favour us shorter women.
And Marion continues the quality clearance. 2 balls away now. No, she feels that the red doesn't go bottom right. It seems like it might have taken that. I think she's going to have to go bottom left with it. Thought maybe it did just sneak in past that yellow, but perhaps it's a bit too tight. So, big shot this. Feel like we've said that a few times. And every time she's delivered shot after shot, she has pulled out unbelievable clutch shots at important moments of this match.
What a performance.
Well, what a performance that was from Marion Jude. In the end, a dominant victory, 8-2 over Harriet Haynes, a player that beat her 7-0 only 2 days ago. What a turnaround that is, and what style she took that game in. Clearance after clearance, big shot after big shot.
Marion Jude, you are Women's Pro Series 8 champion.
So I said, "Oh, right." I said, "Apologies, then." But no, I'm not having that. I said, "I'll put it right that way when I want to go." He's laughing, to be fair. But
we can only call what we can see, and we didn't see the kick, but we did see the response, which was fabulous from Sean Chipperfield. And you have to say, some of the finishes he took out, especially towards the end, were absolutely top draw to knock out the number 1 player, Tom Cousins, in the semi-final.
Yeah, he played it. He played superbly, as did Aaron Davies in his semi. But he was the man that was relieved to get over the line in the end because it just seemed to be running away from him. He couldn't quite go over the line, and he made so many in-offs. Like 4 chances he had to put that match away, and Sean Storry's coming back, and in the end it was just the clock read him out.
Especially against the comeback man, the man that has come back from miles behind him multiple times during the tournament. It seemed to be maybe his, for a moment he might have felt like his name was written on the trophy, but not to be for Sean Storry. Another good run through to a semi-final. More good ranking points for him as his season continues to go well. But it is one of these 2 players that will win the title, and Aaron's in prime position to start well here. And he referenced it earlier on when I spoke to him, that it's just hitting the break incredibly well and giving himself lots of really good chances.
Well, he doesn't want to start how he was finishing. That's true. That's for sure. And on the flip side of that, Sean Chipperfield will want to do exactly that because he was flying at the end of his match. But this is a great opportunity for the man from Manchester to take the opening frame. I wondered if you just roll that in and bump the cue ball off the bottom rail there and just come up a bit. On the old little.
Yeah, he put himself under a little bit of pressure here. I guess the good news is he's actually got the perfect angle just to cue through this one a little bit. He doesn't have to die it in, because the line he was going on. Wow, the line he would have been going on. He was always going to be in the window for the 8 ball for quite a long period, but surprising miss all the same.
Yeah.
Means that Sean Storry... I've done that to him in the beginning of the previous match as well. Sean Chipperfield, I've probably done that to him like 3 or 4 times with Ultimate Pool. Just rolls off the tongue, but Sean Chipperfield has the opportunity here.
Yeah, it's just a incredible miss there from Aaron. And I said he doesn't want to start the match how he was finishing his semi-final, and that's a little bit like it. Always so measured and calm, Aaron. His approach, this man, a bit more flamboyant in his approach around the table, and it's quite slow for him. He's normally been in a wallop half of these away.
I just think too many people think Sean's just a speed merchant. He's got so much about his game.
Of course.
I think it's going to be tough for whoever loses this immediately. I know that's easy to say for any final, but these are two guys that have been so close in the past. You know, certainly in the first 18 months, 2 years, Aaron was really close, and Sean's been pretty much close on repeat for 4 years. And to not quite have been able to make the breakthrough and seen other players come along and make the breakthrough and go on runs, I think it will be tough to get so close to the top of the mountain here and then not quite be able to close it out. Of course, the winner of this match you could see get released and actually end up with multiple titles within quite a close space of time, especially for Sean Chipperfield.
Well, he's got ball in hand and straight away puts in the spot where he remove his worst ball.
That's the beauty of cue ball in hand, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Without cue ball in hand, there was such an important hit for Aaron. Without cue ball in hand, it was going to be really difficult for Sean.
Going back to the old rules, you'd rather have that than 2 visits there, especially.
Simple 8 ball then for Sean Chipperfield to get off to the quickest start. Race to 8 here at the final, so a long way to go. But over 5 minutes of the match clock used up for that one, with a little bit of table time between the two of them.
Because not the cue ball.
Yeah, straight in as well.
I mean, Sean can play that fast. He can actually finish the frame before Aaron's got back to his seat. Well, at least there's a bit more work to do here for Sean Chipperfield. Yellow tucked behind a red down at the bottom of the table, but there are reds nearby where he can get it out, and I'm sure he's already found his plan. And there you see, that was his plan, just to pump that in, loads of topspin, kicks the yellow away from the red, and everything once again is open for Sean.
It's like Grimace, because he knows he's got a bigger shot coming up here. Can't play the one he's nearest to. He's on one top left. He might be on the one top right. But I think the one top left is the one that makes the pattern top left, and then deal with the two at the top of the table. Leave the one over bottom right as your connection to 8 ball left centre.
Yeah, I think if he takes the one top right, if he gets to it, he then has a problem with the one coming back down here again, because it's quite tight coming back in that corner.
It's just that he had to punch it. He couldn't just roll it in, because it would have been going behind the yellow. So I had to really punch it in.
Just makes it, because I was just saying that comment and I looked around and I thought, well, he's just going down to cue, and I suddenly looked around and he's already potted it. It's just like one cue up and bang, it's gone. Right in the heart of the pocket.
That is actually what makes him so quick. He's just the Gets down, one look, go. There's not much feathering. And actually, as much as, it's can be good to watch, and, well, it is good to watch. And it's so, in a shot clock era, it's so useful. He's got longer to look at. The players often talk about the 15 seconds a shot being 10 seconds a shot because they're talking about how long they have to take on the shot. For Sean, his 15 seconds a shot is 15 seconds a shot. He gets more time because of that. And, once he got in line there, he just dispatched them quickly.
And I believe he pulled out a ridiculous break and finished straight after, because all I remember is a picture of Callum Singleton sat there shaking his head for a long, long period of time.
He believe it. He ran the match.
Because he hadn't done anything wrong, Callum.
It completely changed it. Well, he's made a ball this time, but he absolutely won't be making a break clearance. It doesn't get any worse than the leave he has right now.
Well, we know he's just going to leave Aaron up there in that.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of tip-tap here. Both colour sets are bad, even if they're in open play, with reds blocking the yellow and yellow blocking the reds. Is he teasing Aaron to go yellows?
I believe
here?
so. I think he said, go on then, away you go.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere where he could really get particularly safe. That was just a little look at Tom Cousins sat there in the background, I noticed. Just over the back of Aaron's shoulder. Normally he's watching these sort of things from his chair in the arena, not over in the crowd. There he is. Top cat. Sean Chipperfield did for him in the semi. But he is away and out of sight as the number one on the ranking list.
Yeah, it's I haven't done the full maths on it, but he might not be able to be caught at this stage. That's a loose one from Sean this time. He was trying to get was he trying to just get to the red, get that off the table, and then, even if he does that, he's sort of opening up the yellows, isn't he? So I don't know, not entirely sure what he was playing there, in all honesty.
It looked like he was trying to creep in, but well, Aaron is now on the reds. So you're looking at playing a lot of turn. He is indeed. But there is a double coming back towards that baggy with the yellow. And even if he made it, he could play the loss of turn up the top of the table, then with his yellow onto the red, and leave Aaron firmly plonked on that top rail, or worse. So I think Sean will probably play the double back. Well, he went to try and get a double and move the ball out. So he actually went game then.
Yeah, being really aggressive.
That was aggressive.
Trying to make it happen while he's just opened everything up here for Aaron. This might get Aaron going here.
Even by my standards of aggressiveness on the pool table, that was aggressive.
Well, that is a statement. Edgy one from Aaron. Can't blame him for being a bit rusty out there, or a bit not quite as sharp as he'd like.
No, it's forgivable, because, like you just were going to say then, is He's not had hardly any table time. Oof. That is a huge miss.
It can only be scoreboard pressure and the heat that Sean Chipperfield's putting on, because that was routine 4 balls and an 8 ball for a player at Aaron Davies' level. If that's 0-0, that's gone. If this isn't a major final, that's gone.
I think that's match gone because I don't think you can pick yourself up. He's missed the yellow in the first frame into the middle, and that it just compounds everything.
Yeah, and that's the margin here. Two mistakes in the match from Aaron. Okay, they're both bad ones, but it's going to be 6-0.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Aaron. You know, he's really looking forward to this final. I saw him out there, you know, quite smiley, you know, looking forward to it, and then miss a yellow in the first frame. Your opponent starts running wild with finishes.
I do think he'll feel a sense of relief, because he knows how good he is. In his own mind, he will think he should have won a few of these already.
Well, Aaron's going to get a chance to get one on the board. So hopefully for Aaron's sake he can make this finishing. Delay it a little bit longer for Sean Chipperfield.
What's the best comeback you've ever seen? I don't think I've ever seen a 7-0 become an 8-7.
No, never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
I came back once from 1-0 down to draw. My best ones ever was 4-0 down and 1-5-4. That's as far as I went, and that was against Brian Halcroat.
You get that one in on
the Wembley Hilton, yeah, good old buzzer.
Yeah,
that was in the old rules zone, and ironically, I actually played safe. I attacked everything, went 4-0 down because I kept missing my finishes, and he would just tie me in knots. I said, "That's it. I'm not going to put another ball." It was about 11:30 at night. I was fuming, and Brian sort of looking at me laughing, and I didn't. I just sat there and sat there and sat there. And I think it was about 2:30 in the morning. I rolled the last black in P5-4, and he always said to me after that, he says, "You know, Tony," he said, "you know you can play safe." I said, "I know I can play safe, but I can't be bothered." I said, "But he's just done my nutting." I said, I refuse to be beaten 5-0. And yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah, good story, that one. Well, while we're talking about that, Aaron is, tap-ins away from getting that first frame. Just a delicate drop along the bottom cushion. 8 ball would be unmissable. It'd be interesting to see if there's any reaction here from Aaron. Might be. Probably a wry smile as he walks back to his chair. You know, if the frames go scrappy, he needs to take them out in one visit to keep the momentum building. And he's going to need some help from his opponent. And
yeah, and this is the thing with this breaker that Sean's got at the moment is we all know at some point he's going to find one of those ferocious ones and he's going to make 2 or 3 balls. And this could be it.
This is the first gilt-edged chance to go and win the title then for Sean Chipperfield.
Yellow's the order of the day for Chippy.
Is that where he wanted to be, or slightly loose?
I don't know. I mean, if he could play it so he pushes that red onto the middle of that rail, out of the way of all the yellows, that'd been nice. But
I think just the way he played that was exactly where he wanted to be. In all honesty, I think he's sort of seeing it clean these 3, and one by his hand gets him to the one right centre, and the one at the top was always going to be his last ball. I think that was exactly where he wanted.
Yeah, it's looking very bleak for Aaron. But this is complete and utter joy for Sean Chipperfield. And he's been really good value with some tremendous wins, some incredible shots, one massive fluke a couple of rounds ago, but hasn't he entertained?
He really has. He's such an entertainer. He's one of my favourite players to watch.
Me too.
He's so entertaining. He plays a brilliant brand of pool. He plays it at high speed. And he has this 8-ball for his first Pro Series title. And Chippy has done the business. He is a champion for the first time. A brilliant performance all day long. Just kept digging out big finishes, and he just gave Aaron nothing in that final. A flawless performance. Sean Chipperfield is the champion. Sean Chipperfield, our Pro Series 8 champion. Oh, it's been another brilliant 4 days here in Blackpool. So many great moments, so many great champions, so many great matches, so much for us to enjoy, and we have plenty more to come. It won't be long before we're back in action. Tomorrow night at 6:30 we are back for the pairs, and we will see you then.